May I have your attention? May I please have your attention? Super Sundays. Yeah, baby. We're back at it again. Let's get it.
Let's get it. Let's get it.
Let's get it. What's up, everybody, and welcome to another edition of Ernest Hale Speaks Super Sundays. I'm glad that you're here. I wanted to take a moment to tell you guys how much I appreciate you. We've been doing these shows for months now, and you guys have been showing up consistently as we take on and we tackle different challenges and different topics. So I appreciate you. But here's what we're trying to do going forward. We want to grow this audience to people who need to hear content like this. And so we need your help. How can you help us? That's a fantastic question. Be sure to make sure you hit that like button. Be sure to subscribe and make sure you hit that notification bell for all of the content that we have, particularly Super Sundays. All right, guys, sit back, relax, enjoy. Make sure you invite somebody to Ernest Hale Speaks Super Sundays. We're getting ready to go in. We're going to have a good time. Happy Sunday, everybody. Let's get to the show.
Go dummy, go beast on them. I go beast, go deep, I OD on them. I OD. Apply pressure, put heat on them. Put that 500 degrees on them. 500 degrees. Go dummy, go beast on them. I go beast, go deep, I OD on them. I OD. Apply pressure, put heat on them. Put that 500 degrees on them. Down, levitate, going up, elevate. Watch me demonstrate. On time, never late. I grind, celebrate. No pump fake, hesitate. I've been scoring every day. Champagne Perrier. Since 9-3, been in the box, now stepping up to home. Like straight out the sandlot, now I'm plotting on the globe. I work hard, I show love, that karma steady growing. Got this far, I go hard, let God take control. I was starving skinny, now my weight up, got no energy for haters. See you trying, see you later. I'm shooting for the stars, need no laser beam, blowing like the greatest, but it's one who's always greater. Yo, go dummy, go beast on them. I go beast, go deep, I OD on them. I OD. Apply pressure, put heat on them. Put that 500 degrees on them. 500 degrees. Go dummy, go beast on them. I go beast, go deep, I OD on them. I OD. Apply pressure, put heat on them. Put that 500 degrees on them. Smell good, skin clear. This here my year. Hey, look up here. This here my tier. Same fit 4 days. I grind 4 ways. I play no games. All me, no blame. On the wave, my own wave. Can't stop my shine. In the lane, my own lane. Can't stop my grind. 40 yard in the V12 and like 1.5. At 19, I cleared 19 in a month, no lie. Oh God. I was starving skinny, now my weight up, got no energy for haters. See you trying, see you later. I'm shooting for the stars, need no laser beam, blowing like the greatest, but it's one who's always greater. Yo, go dummy, go beast on them. I go beast, go deep, I OD on them. I OD. Apply pressure, put heat on them. Put that 500 degrees on them. 500 degrees. Go dummy, go beast on them. I go beast, go deep, I OD on them. I OD. Apply pressure, put heat on them. Put that 500 degrees on them. 500 degrees.
Young niggas coming to you live from a place where nobody else know to take it. They hand out, they want us to split the pie, right? Cause they realize that we gone crazy. Yeah, I flipped my pie, really did that 180. Yeah, skirt. I flipped my pie, really did that 180. Young niggas coming to you live from a place where nobody else know to take it. They hand out, they want us to split the pie, right? Cause they realize that we gone crazy. Yeah, I flipped my pie, really did that 180. Yeah, skirt. I flipped my pie, really did that 180.
Who's that gon' tell me I can't do it? Better be on time with my bankroll. Talk fat, no ball cat, no lit word. Routine like clockwork, my wrist word.
Let's go like that. I flourish the cook, got no roof on it. I'm taunting, I'm all in the moment. Everything that I don't miss. Till someone get John on the line, say the invoice is coming. I'm thumbing through stacks of that cold ball. They egging me on, so I'm going off. I got them mad, I show off. They treating my life like it's no law. I I never flex above my means. I spit the cream on my tribe, don't I? Don't bone me, don't know me, you not regime. To the one with the crown that my eye is on it. Yeah. I see you move through the place, they precaution, they snaking, they seeing me. Money tree, wake up the royalties. I got a queen, yeah, she go with me. She making me feel like I'm royalty. It's probably cause we royalty. I just got fresh with the golden piece. Shrug, show the emoji, okay. You know it's me, diamond soul, dancing, singing like Jodeci. 10 out of 10 every time till they notice me. What you thought I was supposed to be. Ain't nobody close to me. Granted my hits touch the billboards, and they printing my face on the billboard. They envy my drip, I'm enlightened. You should let go of that hate, but you feel more. I make them rage every time they get flamed when they hear what I say, coming straight from the source, yeah. I come a long way from the coast by the shore. My boy, I'm enjoying this. Young niggas coming to you live from a place where nobody else know to take it. They hand out, they want us to split the pie, right? Cause they realize that we going crazy. Yeah, I flip my pie, really did that 180. Yeah. I flip my pie, really did that 180.
Who's that gon' tell me I can't do? Better be on time with my bankroll. Talk fat, no ball,
And now, your host, Sir Hale Speaks. My bad, folks. Y'all know what time it is. Welcome to another edition of Sir Hale Speaks Super Sunday. We are in the building. What's going on, everybody? How are you guys? I see everybody in the chat. Y'all making some noise early on. It is good to see all of you. First of all, can you guys hear me and see me pretty well? If so, let me know in these comments. Let me know that if you guys can hear, if you guys can see me pretty well. Now, we're in for a dope show. We're in for a dope show. Tell all your people to come on over because we have a great conversation with some great people. Y'all know how we get down over here. So we're going to have a really good time. But before we do this, let's do some house cleaning. Make sure, come again, hit that like button. If you are on Facebook, hit that like button, that love button as well, and show some love to this algorithm. Here's a big piece for us. For all the people who are on the panel, as we drop the link to their channel, be sure to patronize their channels and their pages and show some support. They have great perspectives and they contribute so much to this new media that we have. Last and final thing, I want to send a huge shout out to all of our channel subscribers, to all of our moderators, and to all of those, as my brother Brendan L. Jett would say, to all those who are watching from the clouds. Much respect to all of y'all. We're in for a dope show. Let's get it. But before we do this, make sure you greet somebody in the comments, like at them and ask them how are they doing. We want everybody to feel welcome and have a good time as we go into this discussion. All right, now I've got that out the way. Let me give you what you're looking for. Bring it up to the stage, the one of the only. She's back. Matter of fact, I ain't gonna say a whole lot because she'll say it all. Jasmine is in the building. What's going on with you?
Hey everybody, happy Sunday.
That's what's going on. Good to see you. Y'all know what time it is. Lil Podcast produced it. You know, he says, you know, y'all come here to see him, but we all know the story. I mean, two or three of y'all might come to see podcasts. Well, two or three of y'all. But y'all here to see Sir Hale speak. Bringing my brother to the stage, to one of the only Beans, aka Lil Podcast producer. What's up, my brother?
What's going on, bro?
Hey, nothing but good things, man. I see you, man. I see you. I see you doing your thing. Shout out. Oh, here we go. Bringing up my brother in the building. Y'all know what time it is. He's mindfully misunderstood, but if you listen, you might understand. I don't know if that made sense, but it sounded deep. Bringing my brother to the stage, Sir Charles is in the building. What's going on, bro?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. The people, sir.
That's what's up, man. Listen, guys. Listen, before we get the show started, how are you today?
Hey, you know, when my mother asks me, I always say, super blessed. And it make her laugh, you know. So she get a kick out of that. I know y'all wouldn't think it was funny, but, you know.
Man, listen, it's deep, man. And it's true. Well, Jasmine, how's your week been? Beans, how's your week been?
I'm going to say super productive, super busy, but I'm blessed.
Okay.
Yeah, my weekend work discussing. It's been tough, but I'm good.
You need somebody to talk to, podcast. We all here for you, brother. We all here for you, man. Well, listen, y'all, before we get started, let's get into some shenanigans. I kind of want to preface what we're doing, y'all. This particular show, I wrestle with the concept of change. I wrestle with this as an individual. So my faith side believes that people can change. My experience says most people don't. But there's a story that I want to bring up, and that's what I want to preface the show about. Before we do this, I kind of want to get your thoughts on a couple of clips that I watched, and I'm curious to see what you guys are going to say. So let's take a look at this really quickly. Let me share my screen, and we're going to get to the business. Let's take a listen.
Let's talk about how a man who works too much is a red flag. Not only is it a red flag, it's a turn off. Now wait, before you leave, I'm going to give you a story time on why I say that. Over the summer, I met this guy and we hit it off really well. Went on a few days, had a couple drinks, you know, the usual. During the course of the time that we were hanging out, I noticed that he had really bad communication. Some would say he was a bad texter. I'm talking he would initiate a text and then he would take hours and days to respond. But here's where things start to hit the fan. As you can see, he texted me on September 4th and said, "What up? You got any holiday plans?" To which on September 5th, I replied, "Hey, not much is up. And no, I don't have anything planned for that. How about you?" The next time I got a text back from him was October the 6th, which I did respond, "Hey there." But at this point, I was just over it and I was just being nice. And I never asked because I really didn't care. And I already knew his answer was going to be, "It's because I've been working and I have a lot."
So you guys see, and you guys hear. I'm gonna just say that like that. My question to all of you is a man who overworks, like every time she wants to spend time, you know, she calls him and his excuse is he's busy working. Is that in and of itself a red flag? Let's start with Jasmine Says It All.
A man that overworks, is that a red flag? To me, I would say no. I feel like a man that don't work, don't eat. And also for me, I feel like most women need to be with a man that's busy all the time. He needs to be busy, so that when he do make time for you, it kind of make you feel like special a little bit. Like, man, this man was so busy, he made time for me. I do believe absence make the heart grow fonder. So if you with somebody all the time, up underneath them 24/7, you don't get a chance to miss them. I need a busy man. I don't know what this lady's talking about, but I do know she said something about him taking hours and days to respond. That's because he probably wasn't interested in her to begin with.
Dang.
It don't take that long. I seen the video one day, and it was Michelle Obama. She was pretty much talking to, there was a lady, and she was referencing a conversation that she had with Michelle Obama. If you had Barack Obama, he's the president, and I'm quite sure he had, thank you. I'm quite sure he had a lot of stuff going on. That's a very important role. He always made time for her. So people make time for who and what they want to make time for.
So Charles is on you. What do you think about that? If is a man who overworks, is that in and of itself a red flag?
Come on now, I think you already know my answer to this. Absolutely not. At the end of the day, a man's work is his purpose, and you can't divorce the two. And I always urge men to stay on your purpose, because that's what attracts the woman in the first place. Is what you. That's why. Listen, when we tell our guys we met a girl, they say, our guys ask, "Well, how she look?" Right? Well, when a girl tells her girls, "I met this guy," what do you ask? What does he do? What does he do? Right? Which is the doing is important to women. Here's where the problem lies. When a woman tries to get you to get off of your mission, so to speak, saying that you work too much, well, I mean, either you're going to acquiesce to my lifestyle, the way I do things, or you got to keep it pushing, because this is what I do. No, that Jeff Bezos, and I know we're not on Jeff Bezos level, but I'm just saying, imagine his woman telling him, "You need to slow down." She know a firing is coming, and it's gonna be her. At the end of the day, it's not a red flag in and of itself. However, I think Jazz hit the nail on the head. When it takes you days to respond, I mean, a text message is just that. You can multitask the text message out, and when it takes you days and weeks to get that text message respond to that text message, then that's a clear indication that the guy's not interested. But just because the guy's a workaholic, that's not a red flag at all. I think the woman, she misread the signs. She looking at him being busy. He ain't busy. He's just not interested.
Dang. Podcast. What about you, man? Is a man who overworks, is that in and of itself a red flag?
I want to say yes, but I don't know if I actually believe it. It depends on how you're applying the red flag. I don't think that's conducive to a healthy relationship. So, I know everybody else is really tied into the whole American dream lifestyle where a man works, 90 hours a week for 42 years and retires and gets to actually live for 3 years before he dies and leave it all to a woman. And I just don't subscribe to that. So if you really want to have a healthy relationship that's fruitful, to me, you shouldn't be trying to spend 80, 90 hours at work. That's just my opinion. The relationships need attention too, or it's not a relationship.
Okay, stand right there, podcast. So, and I think Jasmine alluded to it. Do you think that they're in a relationship and every time she wants to spend time, he talks about he's busy, and he can really back this up, right? Whether he's an entrepreneur or whatever he does, he's busy. Is that an indication that he's just not interested in that woman?
Again, I want to say yes. I don't know if I actually really believe it, but my initial thought process is yes, because the one thing I know about myself and other men that I have been around, when they are really interested in a woman, they make time. I know myself, I've been at work and been stressed out about the fact that I preferred to not be at work. And I would rather have been with the woman who was on my mind at the time. So if you're really interested in that, you're going to make time. Now, I do understand that there are different kind of people in the world, right? There are some people in the world who think, like Sir Charles, think that what a man's work is his purpose, right? Which to me sounds absolutely asinine, because I could work at McDonald's and there's no way I'm going to claim that. But the fact of the matter is there are some men that are like that. So this isn't universal. But when I think of the red flag, what are we saying the red flag is thrown at? Thrown at the relationship, right? So I'm saying that's not healthy for the relationship to be gone all the time. You know who you can really put in this as an example? Truck drivers. Truck drivers, they gone 3 weeks out of every month. Those relationships and marriages tend not to last. Which relationships last the most with truck drivers? Ones where their wife is on the road with them. So that's what I mean. Relationships require attention.
Now, I'd like to respond. I got, well, first and foremost, when we're talking about flags, apparently, I think we're talking about the beginning stages of getting to know one another, right? And so I would think, unless he's working later on, the relationship has matured, and now all of a sudden he's working, then that's another type of red flag. But we're talking about in the dating stage, the wooing stage of the relationship, where this is what this guy does, and you think I'm supposed to like create time where it may take time away from what I do to spend time with you. I mean, yeah, I probably could. But if I'm on my grind, a lot of men who are super focused, hyper focused, won't let a woman come between his grind and that success that he's seeking. A woman ain't gonna come between that. Now, here's the thing. This is where I say your work is tied to your purpose. If a man loses his job or his business fails miserably, I guarantee you that woman will get a lesser version of that man. There's nothing that woman can do to soothe him. She can run him bath water. She can rub his feet, massage his back, rub his head. Ain't nothing she can do to make that man feel better. You know why? Because men feel great when they feel like they're winning. And when a man feels like he's winning, that's when he can give the woman the best version of himself. And so if me feeling like I'm winning, if that means me working 16 hours a day, then that's just what I do. And if you don't like a man that doesn't work 16 hours a day, if you like a man that doesn't work 16 hours a day, go find the next man that doesn't work 16 hours a day. It's just that simple. It's just that simple.
But you didn't.
Hold on, Beans. I do agree with
you.
you.
You're wrong, Wendy. Right?
I do agree with you. I do agree with you in the sense that a man will make time for a woman that he wants to make time with. However, I guarantee you, if that man is on the grind, that woman, at some point, she's going to feel neglected at some point. Because here's the thing. A lot of women have insatiable appetites for quality time. It doesn't matter how much time you spend with them. It's never enough. I could keep going about that because I've experienced it where you spend the day with a woman, the whole day with her, right? And then the next day you go and hang out with your guys and she looking sad. Why? I just like, I just why do you have to? Women have insatiable appetites for quality time. So it doesn't, at some point you have to recognize that, listen, you fell in love with me because I'm on my purpose. And whatever it is. And so if I have to adjust it too much, I would probably lose the woman before I lose my purpose and be okay with that.
So here's the thing, right? This I understand what you're saying. I really want to be like, all of that you just said is a bunch of BS, but I can't because I know that it's not. I know that it applies to a specific demographic of men, and so it counts. But what I'm saying is this: the relationship itself matters, or it's not a relationship. There's no way around. There's no way of getting around this, right? What's the point of us being married if we're not going to be in each other's space? What's the point of us saying we're in a relationship if we're not going to be spending any time together? That's no point. We might as well just be single. And then once I get everything together, then I'll come and marry you. Not actually have the time to be a husband and a father. Because I can tell you right now, your kids don't want to hear that purpose crap either. They just want their dad there. They just want their dad at the game. They just want their dad at the recital. They just want their dad to throw the football around. They don't want to hear that, right? So what I'm saying is I'm not arguing about every nigga thinking they're going to make $1 million. Go ahead, man. Do what you got to do. But at the end of the day, you cannot discount the other people who you are asking to be in your life. Those relationships matter. Ain't no way around that.
Let me throw a wrench in there. This is to your point, podcast, and to yours, Sir Charles, as well. But I want to start with Jasmine. So we know recession and hit, prices done went up, things done changed. So let's say a father was working a job, and what he was bringing in 2 years ago took care of the family. Well, costs done gone up, kids done got older, right? Inflation is here. And now, in order for him to sustain his family, he has to put in more hours, which is going to take him away from his family. That's a very real thing. So how do you consider that? That in this situation is not that he's putting his purpose, but the needs of the family are such where he now has to be away for a time. Let's start with Jasmine, and then we'll work our way back down.
You muted.
Jasmine, you're muted.
Okay, y'all can hear me now? All right. In that situation, I would probably have no other choice but to kind of be like understanding. I would have to pick up some form of slack. I would have to pick up the slack. Also, if the monetary, if it's a monetary issue, try to figure out a way that I can contribute monetarily. Because we're a team, ain't no iron team. I do believe that when you are in a relationship or a marriage, and I know I hear a lot of men say that the woman's income doesn't matter. It does matter. Example, the price of living is going up. It's not the same. It's not the same. I remember when I first got my first place, I was paying like $5 something. I'm quite sure y'all first place was way cheaper than that. Now apartments cost more. It costs more to rent an apartment than it costs to rent a house. So I think it's important for both partners to have some form of income. I would just have to figure out a way. Well, we'll have to come up with a plan where we're working together as a team. Because like I said, ain't no iron team.
First of all, Jasmine, I want to say to you, I rock with you. I rock with you, Jazz. That was dope. Let's get Jalen in. What's going on, Jalen? So the question that's on the table is, what's going on? The question is, let's say a woman is saying that her man ain't spending enough time. So is that a sign that he's not interested in her? The second piece to that is, let's say, what he was making before took care of the family. And now they got 2 kids. The prices of stuff has gone up. And now he has to be away longer at work to sustain the family. Like, how do you speak to that? So go ahead and then we'll get to the
podcast. Man. So honestly, I'm thinking like it's the hardest to give and to take, like, relationship. You gotta either bring something to the table and help or deal with it. You know what I mean? Like,
so you said she got the woman, if she want more time, if she wants to free that up, she got to get out there and clock in as well to make sure that can happen.
Use her time wisely so that she can help get there. I feel like doing it together, no matter how much you can, makes a difference. Yeah.
All right, so podcast. Let's do. I think these 2 ladies got to be capping. There ain't no way that they coming up with the right answers. Podcast. Let's redeem this conversation. What do you believe? If you tell me, what's your perspective on this?
Mute.
I believe them, right? It's just I believe the reason for their perspective is toxic, right? If I'm being honest. But I do believe that they think that, I know we automatically think like the woman will be like, no, if I get to stay at home and things get tougher, Negro, just go work some more because that's been the ideology. But the thing is that nowadays, and I think that these so-called high value men probably need to just accept this. The women want to work too. And the reason why is because they want their own money, right? So they either gonna work or they gonna sell sex. So if they're not gonna sell sex, then that means they're gonna work because they want to have their own bag. They don't want to necessarily be dependent 100% on a man. So in a situation where, okay, we got everything flowing and I'm able to just do my thing, but I actually have the space to go grab a shift at a Carson Peary Scott's or something like that, where I can just put on some nice clothes and some perfume on the executive side, you know what I'm saying? And just be in the offices doing this and that and whatever. Like, it ain't no big deal. You know what I'm saying? I'll go do that to cover up this little extra slack. While, even if you do want to pick up a few more hours, just so that you don't have to overburn yourself, and we could be saving the money, either the extra money that you're making or the extra money that I'm making, whichever one is feasible. You know what I'm saying, for a rainy day or investing it for down the line. So, I mean, I don't think that, we got to stop thinking like, oh, these women don't want to work. They have proven that they do. They want to work, but it's only because they want their own money. It's not really because they want to have to pay bills or be responsible for anything. They just want their own bag. And so since everything went up, that's going to make it harder for you to get that purse, to get them shoes, to take that trip. So yeah, they would be willing to work. But at the end of the day, that was going to be what I was going to say. What is the wife doing? Why do he already working 40, 50, 60 hours a week. Now you got to go work 80. You can't find 20. Like, go do your part. You don't get to sit on your ass and put DVDs in a DVD player all day. That ain't it, right? You know what I'm saying? Or we can all just get on welfare. Right? The point is, I'm not going to slave and break my back. No, I'm not doing it. I'm straight on that.
Podcast, I got 2 questions.
Podcast, you always calling somebody toxic. I'm not even gonna lie.
Hold on, before we get to you, Jasmine, let me get Sir Charles. But podcast, I got 2 questions for you. There's some real stuff. I need real answers. Yes or no, podcast. Is Carson Perry Scott still open? Do people still buy DVDs? I just want to be sure about this. I just want to know.
See, but I pulled that up because my mom did that once before, right? You know what I'm saying? Tab got a little bit hard. Guess what? She went and got an extra job working part-time at Carson Perry.
I thought it came from someplace. Listen, back in the day, you go to Carson Perry Scott, you somebody with something. So it brought back some good memories, man. All right, so Charles, what about you, man? So let's say the stage is set. He was spending time, his salary worked. Now he got to throw, 20 more hours to make ends meet. Sir Vaughn also brought up a good question. He said something to the extent where, what about the men who were in the military and they got to go away for months at a time? Like, how do you balance that? Like what's your perspective on that?
So here's what I say, at the risk of being cringy. I do understand that relationships will require some compromise, right? And when I'm talking about purpose, family is part of your purpose. Providing for your wife and your children is a part of your purpose. But that's why I say that a man, this is the cringy part, a man needs to do whatever the hell he thinks he needs to do, because no matter what you do, your woman could literally get tired of that. Here's my point. You could say, hey, babe, I think we should live a minimalist lifestyle so that we can cut back on expenses and I can be here more often. Well, a lot of women want a guy that they can show off in front of their girlfriends, right? So when we're pulling up at the functions in that Hyundai Sonata, while the other friends have Benzes and BMWs, how do you think your woman's going to feel about that? Really? And this is, I'm talking about a real situation that's unfolding right now. Whereas a woman who enjoys the nice car and the nice house, it's all great. But then she says, I need more time. Okay, well, cool. I can give you more time, but we're going to have to scale back on the expenses. Well, I don't really want to do that. And she didn't say that directly, but she'll let you know. So that's why I say, honestly, a man should do whatever the hell he thinks he needs to do to be the best version of himself. Because I say this, where the head goes, the body will follow. Where the head goes, the body will follow. And if the head is messed up, the body is going to be messed up. If the head is functioning properly and is in optimal shape and all of that, the body will follow suit. The body meaning the wife and the children. I get it. Being a workaholic is probably detrimental to family. At some point, you have to carve out time. I've done it. You're looking at a guy who worked hella overtime, but I rarely missed a cheer competition, rarely missed a track meet, rarely missed a football game, rarely missed you name it. But every now and then I might have had to miss it. My point is, and here's the thing, I've seen men give up their purpose to appease a woman, and next thing you know, they screwing around with that work husband, Bob from marketing, because he got her some water from the water cooler.
Dang, Bob. Dang, Bob.
I mean, it could be just that simple. The thing about it is, we all know that, and I'm not trying to perpetuate the gender war here. I'm really not. But I'm an advocate for men staying on their purpose, meaning you know what the hell to do. You do that, and your woman, although you may need to compromise at times, your woman will understand. Your woman should understand that this is my plan, and you can roll with me. You can roll with me, or you could probably just jump off the ship, because I'm going to keep on pushing. Because I know one thing, if one day you could wake up and say, you know what, everything could be going swimmingly. That's my word. Everything could be going swimmingly, and you could wake up one morning and say, you know what, I just don't feel like doing it no more. And where does that leave me? If I gave up everything, my purpose, I'm just trying to put in time for you. And my answer to that was that we need to scale back and live a minimalist lifestyle. And you cool with it for a minute until you got to drive that Kia Forte, right? And I'm just shout out to the kids at Hyundai, because those nice cars.
Which year? 2015 was rough, but 2021, they're pretty nice, man. So
I mean, that's real.
But they just stealing kids. One, they just stealing kids everywhere.
Oh yeah, for a fact.
Dang, I bought one of them things, 2015. Ain't got no spare tire in it. I don't recommend it. The new ones are nice. They come with CarPlay, but that's a different story.
I'm a fan. Hey, listen. First of all, I'm a minimalist. So I don't really care about what other people buying and this and that. They're gonna move me. Those Kias and those Hyundais are nice. They got all the bells and whistles, but people steer away from them. Why? Because somebody might look at you and say, "Oh, he ain't got no motion," or "She ain't got no motion for real." You know what I'm saying? They're gonna judge you, and we care. Unfortunately, we care too much about what other people think. We care way too much.
I'm gonna tell you, that kid Telluride is where it's at.
Man, look,
I'm trying to get one of those. I'm trying to get one.
Telluride is where it's at.
That thing sharp. But you know what?
I got a Tundra. I'm thinking about trading that mug in. I'm being for real. Look, that's a whole different story. Different story.
But a lot of people won't buy it, and won't buy because Kia is just not a hot name, you know. And so here's the thing: a lot of men, we don't care. A lot of men, we basic, but we want our woman to have the nice car. We want and a lot of women ain't going for that. I mean, they might act like they want to, but I'm saying there has to be some give and take. At some point, you can't have it all. It's either time, and we scale back so we can really save and you know, be comfortable, or I gotta get out here and get it.
I know I always be having I be having these conversations with people, and I be telling I tell my guy friends and my lady friends the same thing. The difference between high maintenance and low maintenance. And I know a lot of times what we typically do is we'll pull up the definition, and then the first thing that comes to mind is somebody that's materialistic. If you're a person that don't requires a lot, then you're low maintenance, and a person that requires a lot is high maintenance. So if you're somebody that's high maintenance, you need to be paired with somebody that's high maintenance, because that person requires a lot of time, a lot of attention, a lot of things to upkeep the relationship. So in that case, Charles, I would probably say you would probably should, I guess, a person like you need to be with somebody that's low maintenance.
Thank you.
Yeah, I like that.
I wasn't necessarily talking about me in these situations.
Yeah, I was just giving an example.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah. All right.
Girl, you know he was talking about himself.
Oh no, I did when I said I'm a minimalist. I'm a minimalist.
Yeah, so Sir Charles is one of the few men that I know who has the earning power, but don't need to be flashy. And it's honestly something that I respect from him. That I get from him. So much respect to him. You know, we all have value, man. So, but listen, we're gonna pivot from this, and we're gonna play something else. But before we do, everybody show some love to Beautifully Animated Speaks and to Jalen in the building. Glad that you guys are here. What's up? All right, y'all. So I'm gonna play this next clip real quick, and I want us to respond to this. Here it is.
When people use the "I'm busy" line or "I'm so busy,"
that's when you know they don't like you.
Hold up, hold on. I'm about to hear. I gotta say this.
You know they don't like you.
Hear me out. I've watched one of the richest, busiest men in the city.
You make time
for a long time. He's busy, and that is still be finding time.
Can I pause you?
Let
me just pause you real quick. I think when you're in that place, you have a lot more say in what's going on.
Because you delegate
time, yeah. You're delegating a lot more versus climbing a ladder where things look a little different, bro. If I'm Puff, I could say I'm not going anywhere today.
This is happening today.
Okay, y'all. So the question on the table, and we'll start from the bottom up, Beautifully Animated, and then we'll work our way counterclockwise. Do you believe when somebody used the "I'm busy" line that it means that they don't value you in the relationship that they have with you? Now, I want you to consider different times of life, whether they are in school or they're an entrepreneur. If you keep getting hit with that line, "I'm busy," does that mean that that person doesn't value you? And this is from the premise that we make time for what we want. What's your thought on that?
The thing is, I don't know, because I don't care. The thing is, either our schedules work with one another or they don't. If I'm not feeling it, if I feel like I need more time with you and you can't give it, then I'm about to bounce. So the reasoning behind it, behind the statement, "I'm busy," kind of doesn't matter at some point. So I don't know. I don't think that far ahead.
Dang. I'm gonna circle back to what you said. I'm gonna circle back to that. Jalen, what's your response to that? If you always getting hit with the busy, "I'm busy, I got things going on, let me get back to you," do you take that as the person doesn't value your relationship? And this is friend, family, romantic. What's your thought?
I think sometimes I say I'm busy because I just be wanting to chill.
Dang.
Like it's fun being by myself sometimes.
Y'all here lying, huh?
So hold on, guys. Let me address my audience. Hold on 1 second. If Jalen says she's busy, y'all, that means she don't want to be bothered with y'all. Stop texting that woman and don't call her. She want that chill. Okay, go ahead, Jalen. Go ahead with what you're saying, Jalen. Go ahead.
Like, I just be chilling.
Okay.
I don't even want to be bothered. Like, it's cool. Seeing with you and hanging out.
She's enjoying me time.
You be stressing me.
I need to call my mama. Mama, you.
Not call your mama.
Well, Jasmine, what do you think about this? If somebody always hitting you with the busy, I got something going on, family, friend, romantic, does it mean that they don't value you?
Well, when it comes to the man, I'm gonna just say, am I echoing? No, that's not me. When it comes to a man, I'm gonna just say it's nothing more attractive than a busy man, right? But I know I'm a busy person and I got a lot on my plate. And if I'm making my business to make the people in my life a priority, regardless of if I'm going to school, I'm working full-time, I'm full-time mom, I got a full-time business. If I'm making time to pick up the phone and text you, or even if I can't talk to you, I'll text you, hey, give me a little minute. If I'm making you a priority and I feel like you don't even have the decency to reciprocate the same thing, then yeah, it's 24 hours in a day. You're not busy all 24 hours. And it takes less than a second to send a text message. We spend so much time strolling on TikTok, Instagram. The least you could do is send somebody a text message and just tell them I'll get back with you later. So yeah.
Yeah.
Respect. What about you, Sir Charles? I'm busy, man. And look, let me hit you back all the time. They don't value you?
I'm with beautifully animated. I'll be honest with you. There's not another person on the planet Earth that can tell me how to value myself or if they value me or not. I always look at it like this. Even if they did me like that, first of all, I don't automatically assume the worst. I assume that, hey, either the timing is off, maybe she was too busy, maybe she's not in the right headspace, but I never, my go-to isn't to take it personally, so I don't even think along them lines. So to me, it don't really matter. I just look at, okay, I don't think it's not about valuing me. I just think maybe the timing is off, because I don't know, and or hey, she don't know me enough because I'm super freaking dope, and perhaps hey, she can like the minimalist exterior that she's seen, and because women do go off of that as well. So hey, it's her loss. She can get to see the dopeness. I don't know. I don't really put so much thought into whether the person valued me or not. My go-to is, it's their loss or the timing is off. Maybe they're going through some things or what have you. But I don't know. I don't look at it like, they didn't value me. I don't know. It sounds kind of sounds weak to me a little bit. That's my
Dang, Sir Charles. All right. Well, podcast. What about you, man? Somebody always hitting you with the "I'm busy" line, and this is taken into all consideration: family, friends, relationships. Whenever you kind of reach out to them, they're always busy or they're always going to get back to you. Does that mean that they don't value you?
Yes.
All right, so guys, good segment. We're going to move on to the
I mean, I don't want to give another long, drawn out soliloquy on it, but I mean, at the end of the day, like I said, people make time for the things that they care about. To me, it's really just that simple. You know what I mean? Now, I do think that you can care about multiple things at the same time, but then guess what comes after that? Prioritizing, right? So then you're going to prioritize. So, I mean, honestly, it's I don't know, it's not ironic, but the tripped out part right now is I'm thinking about it. A lot of times when you get asked questions, you try to draw on experience. I don't necessarily really have experience in this. I have experience, but the little bit of experience that I do have is that when people are talking to other people and they don't want you to know about it, they make excuses for why they can't see you tonight. That's the minimal amount of experience I've had in this. They will lie about it, and you just got to know how to ask the right questions to get the truth out of them. Because I know the lady's not gonna like this, but women in general lie, and they lie a lot, all the time, about nothing, about stuff that they should be honest about. So if a woman is giving you the runaround, not making time for you, boy, to any young man out here that don't know this, don't you believe that crap? Don't you believe I'm tired? Don't you believe I gotta work? Don't you believe my cousin having a party? Don't you believe none of that? Okay, just believe that thing that you thinking in your head that she roly-poly in on somebody else is true.
Not the roly-poly.
Yeah, it's true.
Hey,
so I just want to say hi.
I will say
my name is Laisha, and I lie a lot.
But to the recipient of that cold shoulder, it has to be okay. Listen, it has to be okay that a person doesn't value you, quote unquote, or doesn't give you the things that you want. That it has to be okay with you, because at the end of the day, no matter how dope you think you are, you're not for everybody, and you're not going to catch everybody at the right time. I mean, that's just the way of the world. The thing about it is, things come together organically when timing is correct. Both persons are in the correct frame of mind, and they're receptive. You know what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, you might have called somebody bad to whereas, hey, they still in their whole phase, right? They still passing out like PPP loans, and you wonder like, why? Well, why did she call me back? She's busy throwing it around, man. It's okay. It has to be okay.
So she really is busy.
Or she could have just found you. She could have just found Jesus, right? And she really trying to get answers. she really just trying to get answers from the man above to how she should proceed. You never know what's going on. Here's my point. We spend so much time thinking about what other people doing, and you will never know. So whatever energy you get from other people, you got to be okay with that, and don't internalize.
You don't have to be okay.
Hold on, guys.
Don't
That's a big point.
it.
I think I get what Sir Charles is saying. He's not saying you have to accept it.
Right.
He just means you have to accept it for what it is.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Move accordingly. I think that's good. But before we move on, Chantel Simone, what's good? Appreciate you being here today. Shout out to Brandon L. Jett, Lost in Translation. All you guys good to see tonight. All right, somebody wanted to respond to Sir Charles?
I wanted to respond to the podcast.
Hold on real quick, Jazz. So let me respond to Sir Charles since he just said it.
Okay.
So I don't disagree with that part. That's why I was nodding my head in agreement when he said that part. You do have to be okay with it. But what I'm saying is you don't have to be nice about it either, though. Right? Bro, I'm telling you, I'm gonna give you an example. People tell me podcasts, you gotta stop being upset by what people say online. People could say whatever they want to on YouTube. And what they don't understand is in the same breath, while they're telling me to allow people to say whatever they want to say on YouTube, they telling me not to say whatever I want to say on YouTube. Do y'all get that?
Get this monster. Motherfucker squirt.
I get that. So what I'm saying is it's just as much as it's probably prudent for you to be okay with how this person is acting. It's also okay for you to not take it lightly. It's also okay for you to cuss them out, right? It's also okay for you to send them a text message and talk about their mama. Let me tell you something. I'm dead serious on this, bro. It's good and it's evil in this world. You're not gonna tell me I have to accept it on one hand, but then on the other hand, I can't dish out my own, right? I want to be able to dish out my own too. Here's my thing. I don't like liars. I loathe liars. Y'all hear me say all the time how much I love whores. Why do I love whores? Because they're honest. They're honest about who they are. They ain't faking it. They not faking who they are. What I like about them, right? I loathe liars. So therefore, if you're anything that's the opposite of a liar, I have respect for you.
Hold on, podcast.
Something is lying to you. about where they at, what they doing, why they can't spend no time with you and all that. Although you have to be able to say, okay, forget this person, you can send them a nice little forget you letter too. At the
Hold
same
on, podcast. Let me address my audience, podcast. Just give me a second. Podcast says he loves whores, but doesn't like liars. Everybody in the chat, just put the hand emoji. Stretch your hands and pray for my brother because he's going through something right now. What in the like somebody make sense of what podcast just said.
Jasmine gonna go in there. I want to respond to something podcast said, unless the other ladies want to say something.
Nah, podcast was saying what was wrong that we don't ask all the right questions, right? So I thought he was finna really get a women, give us, you got 3 beautiful women on the panel. I thought you was finna give us a little secret sauce to tell us what's the right questions that we need to be asking. But then you start talking about men, so that man.
I'll say this, and I understand my way of thinking doesn't serve everyone, but my way of thinking is to bring me inner peace, and the way I obtain inner peace is that I don't internalize anything that another person does. I just refuse to, and here's the thing about it. If another person can get you out your character or control your emotions and your feelings, then they are in control of you. That's just the way I see it, right? So now here's the thing. If you're going back and forth with somebody on YouTube for theatric purposes and for likes and comments and get the views up, I understand that. But if that person says something and it really affected you, then there's a problem there. That means that other person literally has control over you. That's just the way I view it. Now, I'm all for back and forth banter, just sparring in the ring, just to make it entertaining. But I could literally do that and hang up and not think about that person ever again. I just did. It's kind of like having a fight. It's kind of like having a fight and fighting calmly. I've done that before. I literally had a fist fight and I did it calmly. My emotions wasn't tied to it. This was something that I needed to do. But at the end of the day, when other people can control your emotions and your responses and your feelings, that means external forces are in control of you. That means a lack of control of yourself. That's just the way I see it.
So I get what you're saying, but this why you have value men get on my damn nerves, bro. Because y'all act like
listen, I was high value when I was working at McDonald's at 16. Because my mindset.
I ain't even talking about the money. I'm talking about the mindset right now, bro. Right? What I'm saying is this, bro. If we was face to face right now, Sir Charles, and I slapped you,
I like
yes
it.
Or no, are you hitting me back?
Yes. And here's the thing, though.
We got to bring this back in. I don't know what y'all talking about right now.
This is beautiful.
Go ahead.
Well, listen. Am I in control of you when you hit me back? Don't try to say yes to make no point that's gonna unravel everything you just said, bro. Just be honest. You know the answer. Am I in control of you when you hit me back?
No, because I consciously make an effort. But go ahead. I got something.
No. Finish that sentence.
No, because at that point I am protecting my person.
No. Say the words you were about to say.
Yeah, at that point, I responded because I chose to protect my person. Now,
okay. What you were about to say was, I consciously made a choice. Yeah. Right? That's what I do the same thing. Just because it's not me hitting somebody, I do the same thing when I responding back to somebody. Okay. I don't respond every single time, but when I do respond, I made a conscious decision to respond back. They're not in control of me.
I've been on enough shows.
All right, fellas. This conversation done went off the rails and flipped over a few times. Let's wrap up and we're gonna move on.
One last piece. Okay, I've been on enough shows with you, Brother Beans, that I know that you really take these things personally, which means you internalize them. Here's the thing, though. Just like you would, if I walked up to you and I punched you in the face, that you would protect your body, why wouldn't you do the same thing for your mind? Why wouldn't you protect your mind? Understand that when people say things and do things, they're literally toying with your mind, and your response to that, which is negative more often than not, is literally saying that you have no protection over your own mind. See, the thing is, we protect our bodies, we protect our money, but we leave our minds open for other people to play puppeteer with, right? That means that's how niggas could get locked up for domestic. I wouldn't talk about nothing personally, but I'm saying that's how people get locked up over something somebody else done. Listen, when I call my case and I spent time in Markham courthouse waiting for bond court, I listen. If you ever got arrested and been in Markham courthouse waiting for bond court, and you can hear that the county bus in the back, you can hear it is waiting. It was like 200 niggas in the cell waiting for bond court. I'm listening, and I can hear everybody in there. All the guys in there with either something to do with not being called a punk. They didn't want to be called a punk, or something to do with a woman. One of the two. It was something they did, and that woke me up at 19 years old. I'm like, I made a stupid decision. I didn't want to be called a punk. And I felt like I needed to retaliate in a way that cost me, I got a felony to this day. I can't legally carry a pistol. Yep. So I'm saying I let that person control me to the tune that I messed my life up. And so I vowed to be smarter. If I'm going to do something, it's going to be calculated. So if I'm going back and forth with a person on YouTube, it's calculated. It ain't just because I'm in my feelings. I need to get my views.
But that's what I'm saying. And really quick,
you got 6-8 response, and we got to move on.
Yeah, the thing is this, bro. I like debate, right? When I think about the people who build societies that have to put laws and stuff in order and structure societies, you think they didn't argue, right? Because you're juxtaposing thoughts against each other. And when I get frustrated is that when people don't use logic. When people don't see the flaws in their own argument, or when people go personal, right? And so I'm very demonstrative in that way, but I'm very demonstrative because I don't want to be violent. So I'm more demonstrative with my words. You see what I'm saying? But the control part to me, as it relates to the topic that we was talking about, is that I'm not going to just let you gaslight me, right? Gaslighting for me is tantamount to you slapping me. Straight up and down. So if I'm investing all my time and effort into this relationship, and what you're giving me back is lies, forget if you saying, hey, stop calling me, I don't really want to deal with you no more. That's different. But I got you. Tomorrow, then when tomorrow come, hey, Friday, then when Friday come, hey, Sunday, and what was you doing? Oh, I was with my friends. I was over here. You was everywhere, but on top of some other dude's thing, when we know that's the truth. You're lying to me. Right. And then you're gaslighting me because I know you lying to me, and you're going to keep telling me I'm wrong and I'm crazy. To me, that's violent. And I'm going to respond in kind. I'm not saying I'm going to touch you, but verbally, oh, yeah, you're going to get it. And you're probably going to get a nasty text message with all kind of caps. I'm going to make
So we got to wrap this up. But I think what I'm getting from this podcast, that makes sense now that you related it. I get how you perceive that. But I think the overall message is, if somebody's treating you in a way that disrespects you, or that goes against how you want to be treated, you have every right to remove yourself, giving them proper notice and being decent. I think we could all take that message from there, and don't overthink it. A lot of y'all think that you can guilt a person into giving you time. You can't make nobody feel any different about you than they feel, right? So you got to look at how they treat you, and how they treat you is ultimately how they feel about you. So I think we can agree on that, right?
That's real. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay, let's move on to this next clip. Now, this is going to be a little different, y'all. Listen to something Shahrazad Ali said, and listen to the response of one of the sisters who has something to say about it.
And Shahrazad Ali neglected to mention, as she was calling out black women for our fake hair. And Shahrazad Ali neglected to mention, she neglected to call out black men. Wait a minute.
Well, that ain't it. Hold on a second, y'all.
Woman in America don't get no older than about 14.
Hey, stop it.
So just talk to.
We gotta listen to what she said. She said that.
So I'm gonna play that one more time. Take a listen to what she says.
Woman in America don't get no older than about 14.
Hey, stop it.
So just talk to.
We gotta.
So this clip comes from something Sister Shahrazad Ali said, and where you can't really talk to women like equals. Because most women in America, their psychological development, and again, this is not neurological. I'm talking about their maturity, emotional maturity, so on and so forth. It stops at about 14 years old. And so, taking some of Charles's point, arguing with somebody who doesn't see it from the same vantage point. Here's the question: it's kind of controversial. Are a lot of our women, shout out to Mr. Lego, are a lot of our women today like children in terms of being able to be respectful and honest and decent in relationships, particularly in conversations? Let's start with Sir Charles and we'll work our way around. Are women like children?
I disagree with that. As much as I want to be cringy and say something that's going to be like a aha moment, man, I got too much respect for my black women. At least, let me tell you something. I think a lot of times we make judgments based off of what we see around us. Dude, I'm just around some dope ass women, classy women, mature women. You know, I don't see so much of the foolery. I see it on social media. I see it on the internet. But I have very intellectual conversations with women. I wouldn't dare call them children mentally, but I will say that you know, I do know that at times they can get so emotional to whereas they exhibit childlike behavior at times, but that could be just because she trust that man to some degree to be vulnerable in the sense that, I don't know. I can't really say, I can't say that. I can't honestly agree with that women are like children. I don't see it. They probably out there though. They're just not around me. I ain't seeing them. I see them on social media.
Dang. What about you, Jasmine? In some regards, and this is not making kids like children, right? We're not trying to minimize them, but in some ways, in terms of communication, understanding, reciprocity, so on and so forth, are a lot of women like children in that regard, particularly in this culture today?
Well, when you put it like that, when you say the communication piece and the reciprocity, I would say yes. I gotta just keep it short and sweet. The answer is yes when it comes to communication and the whole reciprocity, because most women want somebody that can take care of them. That's stuff that children do. Most women, when they don't know how to communicate, If you see a woman that's upset, most women, they don't even know how to articulate when they're upset. The first thing they do is they acting out, they damaging stuff, they being disrespectful. They can't tell you, hey, you did X, Y, and Z, and because you did or said this, it made me feel away. So to answer the question, I would say yes.
Jasmine is on one tonight. Okay, Jalen, what about you? In this culture today, are women like children to some degree? What's your thought on that?
I believe. My bad. Is it echoing?
Don't worry about it. Go ahead.
Okay. I believe everybody has childlike action sometimes. You know?
Feminism.
What'd you say?
Let's get it out. Jasmine said everybody has childlike behaviors, but specifically, and I want to hang on this because typically this is where it goes. Well, everybody does. Everybody. But here's the difference. If what you're saying is correct, here's the legitimate difference. A woman can get away with it, a man can't. Right? So if a man performs like a child, it's jail, it's all kind of stuff waiting for him. Women can get away with it. So to your point, would you agree with that? And then please finish your point.
Yeah.
Dang.
I can see it.
Dang it.
That makes sense.
Now, Sir Charles done said no, and the women done said yeah.
Well, hold on. Now you posed
what are we living in?
By the time you got to Jasmine, you posed the question slightly differently. I had a different take, but go ahead. I'm letting.
You can't change it now. Everybody, you heard what Sir Charles said. Moderators.
Charles being a real nigga right now.
Even
Jasmine trying to change his answer.
Now that you posed it like that.
So let me try to let's hear Beautiful Animated speaks. If we got three women who agree, Sir Charles, we got to have an after show just for you tonight. But Beautifully Animated, what's your perspective on the question?
Women being childish. No, because I'm not going to put down children for being children. So I'm not going to put them in the same category. They're immature. because there is no age range or limit for immaturity. You would think there would be, but there isn't. So, yeah, immature, throwing tantrums, throwing things, not hearing another person when they're angry because they want to be heard, starting shit.
Dang, now starting stuff.
And the list still goes on, but you know, I said my piece. Gonna finish this up, podcast.
So, in terms of just translating what you said, is women are childlike. Good podcast. What's your perspective on the question?
I mean, this. Look, I got a lot of respect for Miss Animated on the speaking side of the game, right? The literal definition of immature is having or showing an emotional or intellectual development appropriate to someone younger. It's no way to get around this.
She was trying to save Charles from this after show, and I commend that valiant effort.
This is what I'm saying. Like, there's just no way to get around this. The first time I heard it, I cringed. And then once the behaviors were broken down, I was like, well, yeah, it applies. There's no need for me to try to defend women on this. It just is what it is. But I think the bigger takeaway from this, right? Not everybody might see this way, but the bigger takeaway is that it's just another, what do you call it? Is it a misnomer? It's another one of those things that we have been lied to about all these years, that women mature faster than men.
Podcast, don't bring in logic, man. We don't do that on the night show. Dang it, podcast.
All of these years, women mature faster than men. Women mature faster than men, right? It's one of those things that I don't think we even understand impacts boys' development just because they have to hear it so much.
Podcast, let me give a different side of perspective. Maybe in the teenage years, maybe they do develop faster because of social pressures and stuff like this. But as we move into adulthood, where our responsibility is solely on us, would you say that that's when the differences start to appear?
Not if we apply what Shahrazad Ali said, because she said the growth stops at 14. So that means they only 2 years into being a teenager and still got 5 more to go.
So at 15, they just fall off. Dang.
Exactly. Right. So the level of maturity that I think women have, right, is the fact that from the time they're about 12 years old, when they start developing little bodies, every man in their life, pretty much outside of maybe their father and their brothers, is trying to sleep with them. So because they have to learn how to navigate that world of sexual energy, there's a level of maturity that comes along with that. Also a level of ego, right? But because of that, you stepping into this thing that you consider womanhood, and you feel like you doing it so early, you stop thinking you need to grow up. Your behavior don't matter because every man wants you. The way you think don't matter because every man wants you. The way you dress, how you say things out of your mouth, the way you communicate, none of it matters because every man wants you. So you don't think you have to develop anymore. You don't think you have to grow up anymore. And anytime anybody disagrees with you, they just hate you, right? Or it's something wrong with them, right? I know y'all don't like it when I talk about the personals, but my girl refuses, right, to accept the fact that she tries to compete with me so often, right? And that's based on that level of programming that women are given when they're young, that the men are always trying to manipulate you. So I don't have to grow up. I don't have to develop. All I have to do is make sure ain't no man telling me what to do in my life. Because I'm a strong, black, independent, fake Christian, right? So that's the problem. The problem is that they live a certain life to where when they hit that age, they don't have to grow up. You know what I'm saying? They don't have to mature emotionally or psychologically, because the thing that they want the most, which is to be provided for, men are offering them that for the cakes. And that's how far their development goes most of the time, I would argue.
Ladies, do you guys disagree?
No, I agree. I just think, well, the only part I disagree with is them thinking they don't have to mature. You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of immature people say they're mature because they're banking on their age. They're banking on that number to say, I'm grown. But yet their actions show their immaturity. So mentally, I think they think that they're grown because of their age, but their actions show differently.
I want to jump this. I want to put this in here before the ladies go. I think this is why fathers need to be in a young girl's life. I'm going to tell you why. We teach our daughters acceptance. We accept good behavior. We accept bad behavior. And for the stuff that's gray, we accept it as part of their femininity. And I think fathers who offer guidance and they don't accept bad behavior, I think this is what keep young girls growing, who get attention to keep on growing, because they have a father figure, a man in the life that either approves of good behavior and disapproves of bad behavior. And that gives them the wisdom that they need to develop properly. So with that being said, Jalen, Jasmine, what do you guys think about that?
I'm sorry, could you repeat the question? Because I was just ready to respond to podcast and to Beautifully Animated, because I know I agree with everything podcast was saying, even Beautifully Animated. Because a lot of times we do think maturity comes with age, and it don't. And we think wisdom comes with age, and wisdom actually comes from experience. But I do think it's super important for a man, a father, to be in his. Y'all can hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
I'm sorry. I think it's super important for the man to be in a young girl's life too, because he's going to be the person that set the tone, like you said, for what he's going to accept and what she's not going to be accepting. So yeah, I'm agree with all of y'all.
But do you think that it's called an arrested state of development? Is that because the father's not there to help her to understand what's acceptable behavior versus what's not?
I mean, for the most part, experience will tell you what's right and wrong for the most part. But even with that, we don't want to accept the reality of what things are. You can literally give people the blueprint to everything, and they still won't follow the blueprint. So I always feel like experience is the best teacher. If that answers your question, so to say.
Absolutely. So Charles, what you got on this? Yep, you definitely on mute, man.
You muted.
Definitely, it definitely helps when a father's in a young girl's life, so that she understands. But we first of all, not just any father though. I want to throw this out there. We fathers who are intentional, fathers who are strong men, fathers who are leaders in their families, because you can have a man present, a father present in the household, and everybody's running all over him. I actually seen that, but I think just to be understood, we're talking about a certain type of father. Yes, absolutely, needs to be in his daughter's life, but and that heightens her chances of picking up those gems to be able to be a mature woman. But, at the end of the day, man, we got so many other influences. We got our peers. We got society. We got the internet. We got mothers. Even if the father is a strong father, the mother can actually impute toxic behavior in the child. At the end of the day, I agree it would help, but a woman at some point, she needs to stop making excuses. I don't really give a damn what your family status was. At some point, you need to do the work. And the thing about it is, we're all driven. Most of us are driven by our results. If our results if we are too uncomfortable with our results, we'll make the change. We'll make the change. But a lot of times we're comfortable with our results. And that goes for men and women. A lot of times we get way too comfortable with our results, and we don't change. And so that's where I implore other people who are dealing with these types of women or men, for that matter, place them in one of three categories. It's your right: full association, limited association, or no association. But they got to do the work at some point.
Okay, excellent, y'all. So listen, we're gonna wrap up this segment, and so we got 2 more questions, and we out of here. So let's get into the meat of the conversation. Let's get it done. Everybody who's just joining, good to see you. Shout out to my brother Black Man Unfiltered, Lady Navoya. I see you in the building. What's going on with you, CBN? What's up with you? We're getting ready to pivot into the heart of the conversation, and I wanted to do this because you guys have seen, or if you haven't, I'm gonna let you know about some of the changes from Blac Chyna. So you guys know that, in the years past, you guys seen on reality TV, she's had injections. I mean, she was, on OnlyFans. I mean, you name it. She was living the life. Well, recently, she has made a significant change. She has removed the injections. She has, as of last year, she's gotten baptized, and she's reached a point in her life where she's actually making changes. Now, I see this from 2 sides. Most conversations like this come from the perspective that if that's how she is, that's just how she is. She ain't changing. If she done got her OnlyFans, if she done, she getting that money, that attention, you can't really change her. Is Blac Chyna an example that some women can change if they want to? Let's start with a podcast, and then we'll move our way around. Is Blac Chyna an example that if a modern woman wants to change, she actually can? What's your thought on that?
I got to be honest. What I'm about to say, I cannot back this up. I can't say it's logical. I don't believe her. I don't believe she's changed. So I don't think she can be an example of change. Only time will tell. But this is an opinion show, so I'm giving mine. She is one of the worst role models of all time on every level. And there's nothing nobody could say that she has done, really, that would make me think like, yeah, she's changed. Like, it would have to be like zero makeup, zero weave, zero tight clothes. She can't be in the club. She can't be in music videos. Like, she would have to literally become like a Mormon, a nun of something for me to really believe that she's changed. Because it's too many layers to this. You know what I'm saying? I had a conversation the other day with a girl shout out to Fantasy Island Girl. She's new in the space. She's on her way to the top, though, as far as I'm concerned, as far as female content creators. And she got breast implants, and she talked about why she got them. And I was able to understand it. I was able to understand the insecurity and this and that, and then at the same time, the ones she got, they look natural. And if you didn't know that she got them, you wouldn't have even known. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like she said, she got the implants, but she didn't get the lift. You know what I'm saying? She just didn't like the way her breast fell after breastfeeding her child. And so I lend understanding to that, right? Because I know guys that dealt with cancer, and after cancer, they had the erectile dysfunction. And so they had to have surgeries to be able to, get erections. And so I understand people go through that. But this is just more than that. It's the behavior with her kids, baby fathers, gold digger, no talent. I don't like using the word trash, but it's applicable to all of the behavior, not her as a human being. And I'm all about redemption. I'm just saying with her, because the question was directly about her. Hell no, I don't believe her.
Well, thank you for that inspirational response podcast. You get the animated speech. What's your thought on Blac Chyna? Do you believe that she's an example that if you want to change, particularly for women, that you can change?
I mean, I don't. I'm sorry. That girl is nobody's role model. No. But
As a matter of fact, while you're waiting,
general,
hold on. So, Chad, do you guys believe that Blac Chyna, her decision, is an example that what we call modern women can change? Go ahead. I'll go ahead, beautifully animated.
in general, yeah, people can change if they want to change. And matter of fact, that's the only way you're gonna get a person to change is because they want to change for whatever reason. So that's just my general answer about people changing.
Okay. What about you, Jalen? Is what Blac Chyna has done? She removed her implants, stopped her OnlyFans, and really is trying to live for God. Is that an example that what we call modern women who have that life? Is she an example that you can change?
I'm very much an optimist, so I like to let people try and change because I believe they can. So yeah, people can change.
Okay.
Yeah.
Bravo what Sheila says. She says anyone can change because when nothing changes, nothing changes. Have to give room for growth. Have to just watch her growth. I've seen the worst of people change. I think that's a very good
okay.
thing.
Okay, this is what I want to do, Bravo. Real quick, this is what I want you to do.
Before we get that though, I got to get Jasmine.
I know. I just wanted to say something to Bravo real quick while you got the comment on the screen. When she becomes a televangelist, we're gonna revisit this conversation. We're gonna revisit this conversation. And I'm gonna ask you, was it for real or was it about the money?
I don't think televangelist is still a thing, but we'll discuss.
You know what I mean, though. You know what I mean, though. They doing it on the internet.
$26.99, and I got a word. Listen, Jasmine, what's your perspective? Is Blac Chyna, is she an example that what we call modern women can change?
Okay, so with these celebrities, if I'm being completely honest, you just never know because they always doing something for a publicity stunt. Firm believer that action speaks louder than words. And I also believe that you can do anything you put your mind to. And I believe that for anybody, you just have to be willing to put your mind to. You have to put your mind to work. But I do believe we all can change. I do not think she is an example. And I know that's kind of messed up to say because she is making the changes. Even like I want to say this past year or so, we've been seeing a lot of celebrities talk about their issues with plastic surgery. They're having health issues, so we don't know what type of health issues that surgery might have caused her. I have a family member that had some surgery, and it caused her to have some health things, caused cancer. So we don't know what this plastic surgery is doing. So, I mean, I'm glad that she's putting in that effort to change her life. We all want to be, I'm assuming that all of us as human beings are trying to be better today than we was yesterday. But to look at her as an example, absolutely not. I don't look at her as an example.
Hey, again, after this, a very encouraging message from Jasmine, Sir Charles, what's your perspective on this whole thing? Is Blac Chyna an example that what we call modern women that they can change? And I'm gonna give you my perspective after Sir Charles.
Well, without understanding the full context of her story, I'll say yes, because at the end of the day, people who followed Blac Chyna throughout her thuggism, her career, they may be led to a better life because they saying, hey, if Queen Thought made it, then maybe I can make a change as well, and it could be acceptable. The thing about it is, it's funny. Again, it's funny how we can accept men making changes before we can accept women making certain changes. And we understand that women know how to use their sexuality to gain certain things, money, fame, what have you, favor, what have you. And so she used what she had to get what she wanted. Time will tell, though. I think, you know, if a man can go to jail for murder and be the biggest drug dealer in the planet or whatever, and get out and change his life and become a pastor or whatever, you know, and people will accept him before they accept a woman who was out here being a thotty and making a change. I just think a lot of times, too, people will follow you if they realize, first of all, where you've been, and then they see where you're going. They're like, oh man, I could probably do that too. So I think, yeah, she might not be an example for the majority, but I think she would be an example for someone. And that's all that really matters. If she could reach one person, then that's awesome. And that's just my perspective.
So a podcast, are you frozen?
No, I'm not frozen.
Yeah, I think you're frozen on my side.
No, he did. No. I did that on purpose.
Oh, okay.
I wanted to step away for a second.
So here's my thing, y'all. Here's my thing. I'm pragmatic. I come from the realm of psychology, and based on traditional research, you know, your personality is set. It's genetics. As I get older, though, I do believe that people can change. I really believe that. At first, you know, I believe that people become what they are, but I do believe that with the right circumstances and support and desire, I think people can. So here's my answer to Blac Chyna. My response is, I hope so. I hope that this is for real. And I do this for a couple of reasons. One, it will be an awesome example to other young girls who are watching her. Let's just set that up. But even for her as a woman, to be able to take the pressure of what society says you need to look like, what you need to do, how you need to make your money, to take that pressure off of yourself and to try to do it the right way, I can at least respect that effort. So while I don't know if right now she's a great example yet, my response is I hope so. And here's why I say this, because a lot of our aunties and mothers and sisters had a life before we really knew who they were as well. And a lot of us can accept the changes in the women in our families. And I think that when it comes to people who we're not connected to, we're a little bit more rigid in our belief that they can change. What do you guys think about that?
I think you're wrong. I think I can accept.
It was really good having podcasts on the stream today. Anybody else have a thought to what I just said a moment ago?
I don't know who invented that, me or you, but I know I get
that was me, man. It was me. I should do with shoo.
So I think you're wrong on the last sentence, because I think I would lend more grace and credence to somebody I know changing than a celebrity. Because I got one word for you, right? And this was what I was going to say in response to what Sir Charles said. Sierra. I mean, if you know the story, I shouldn't even have to say nothing else. But maybe you don't know the story and you're here for our opinion, so I'll give it to you. She started out ratchet. She got with a dude who was Christian, and they putting out pictures of them in church praying and Allahu Akbar and all that other good stuff. Amen. And now what do you see?
Jiggly.
All across the red carpet.
She didn't change.
Jiggly.
That's the problem. She didn't change. That's the difference.
Thank you.
She put on God.
Thank you.
Okay,
that's the point.
No. We're going. I'm going off purely on the premise that Blac Chyna can change. She can change, and Sierra can still change. We can all change. I had a conversation with my daughter one time. Hold on, real quick. I had a conversation with my daughter one time, and she was like, she heard stories about me. I'm not saying I was just whatever. And she was like, Daddy, I couldn't see you doing some of them things. I said, exactly. If I'm doing the same things that I was doing back then, now I failed both of us. And at the end of the day, sometimes that change comes later in life. I don't know how old Blac Chyna is. She what, 34? I don't know how old she is.
I think she's 34. Yeah.
Okay, so boom. So I'm saying her change came later than a lot of people. Some people never change, but and some people change 50s, 60s, then decide to change. What's important is that they change, right? And they can change. So I'm saying I'm being optimistic, just like Jalen said. I mean, I'm optimistic until I see otherwise. Yeah, go ahead, change, and hopefully you could be.
The question was, can she right now? We can't talk about 10 years from now. We can't talk about 30 years from now. We're talking about right now. Can she be an example of change? And the answer is no.
I say yes.
If you could, right? You saying yes because you like her. I'm saying I'm being realistic.
I don't even know how she looked, to be honest with you. I don't even know how she looked.
Good, because you don't want to. Here's the thing about it, right?
Please stop. Please stop. That's a horrible.
Here's what we're gonna see. Like I said, we can revisit it. We can put some money on the table if y'all want to. We're gonna revisit this, right? Because at the end of the day, like I said, Sierra, the presentation was she left the bad dude alone. She got with the good guy. She in church now. They putting out the pictures of her praying and all of that. And what do we see now? Naked ass on the red carpet. So what I'm saying is no, women change when it's to their benefit. Right now, she was looking very bad in the public eye. There was no good press for her, right? So now you want to try to make it like you're going to change, but I guarantee you she's still going to have the eyebrows, the weave, the makeup, all that other stuff. And here's the biggest thing right here. Guess what? Her name ain't Blac Chyna. When she starts going by Angela Renee Wright, then I believe she changed.
I want to say she has started reclaiming that name back. Now, I will say this though: when people change, they change at a faster rate than people accept. So I think we got to add that into here to this point as well. Anybody want to respond to podcast?
I want to say that everybody changes when it benefits them. Everybody. Nobody makes a change when they're comfortable in the space that they're in. You make a change when you're uncomfortable. That's when everyone makes a change. So it ain't just women. Women make a change when it benefits them. Everybody makes a change when it benefits them.
That's a fact. Anybody else
Thank you for making my point for me. He ain't changed.
No. But the thing about it is, what's the benefit though? The benefit could be peace of mind. Simply peace of mind. I don't want to live my life like that.
I would believe you if it wasn't for the fact that 16 hours ago she had her titties out on Instagram. Bro, listen, man. Look,
titties, man. God, titties, man. Let's see them.
Oh, jiggly now.
Hold on, guys. Let me just mind it.
I thought this was a
Hold on, podcast.
And Charles is
hold on, guys. Listen, Sir Charles said God made titties and let him show. I don't condone this message at all. I was Sir Charles. Like, let's go ahead.
We just want to see his work, man.
Listen, bro, this is what I'm saying, bro. I'm all about balance, bro. I love women, man. I hate them at the same time, but I love them. Balance. See what I'm saying? So I'm all for that, but I gotta be fair and honest to people, bro. Like, I'm not finna sit up here and because somebody put out something and say something, then okay, yeah, well, no. Same thing with the situation that's going on with the brother Jonathan Majors. Like, you're not finna just convince me of anything because you said something. It's not how it's gonna work. I'm gonna think for myself. I'm gonna take all the evidence I have. I'm gonna put that together, and I'm gonna make my own decision. I'm not saying I'm right, but what I am saying is I'm thinking for myself. I'm using the evidence provided for me. And I'm not going off no optimism, happy, hope feelings. I'm saying right now. The question was right now. Can she be an example of change? And the answer is no, because you're on your Instagram tucking something into your bra, and the bra is stopping right here, right above the nipples, and it's like, no, you still ain't figured it out. No woman that's for Jesus finna be on the internet 16 hours ago with her titties bouncing.
Facts.
Not how that's gonna work.
I seen a comment.
Also,
I seen a comment that said, "Let the lady
She's showing her
Also-
titties to the Lord.
yield the
Okay.
floor." Listen, I'll say this and I'll yield the floor. We acting like change is a 180 like that. No, change is small degrees at a time. Change is not a 180. At the end of the day, a street nigga don't just wake up and be like, you know what? I'm going to become a pastor, and tomorrow, so I'm going to wear a suit and tie, and I'm going to know the word, and every step I take is going to be for Jesus. No, at the end of the day, when a street nigga is trying to get out the streets, he make incremental changes. When a thotty, I'm sorry.
No, I disagree with that too.
Hold on, podcast. Because at the end of the day, listen, bro, you know this is fact. When people make changes, they're incremental. It's not like you. Okay.
So wait. This is what I'm doing.
We got to let Charles finish.
We are amazed when a person makes great changes in such a small period of time. We're amazed with that because that's abnormal. What's normal is incremental changes. And so, okay, she made at the end of the day, maybe I'm just a glass half full type of person. But because I see her reverted back to orthodoxism, it doesn't necessarily mean she's still trying to get it right. But these changes are incremental. You do a 180, probably two or 3 degrees at a time. 2-3 degrees. Tick.
What I'm saying is this. I don't agree with you, right? I believe that change is rapid and sudden. I believe people they make change at the precipice, right? That's when they make change. So I'll give you an example that you can rebut, and it's gonna sound crazy if you try. I smoked cigarettes for 19 years. Guess how many days it took me to quit when I decided to quit? 1. 1. Oh my God, this cigarette just made hold on. Oh my God, this cigarette just made my chest hurt. I ain't smoking no more.
And that's abnormal, and that is podcast, and that's not true for everyone else.
No, it's not abnormal.
Yeah,
that's literally how that works.
Listen, most other people.
So Charles, when you was talking, I was told to let you finish. So I'm definitely gonna get the same respect.
Go ahead. I got you.
Here's what I know, and I'm using the cigarettes because there's fewer things in this world you can change greater than smoking. That is a nasty habit, and most people do it for decades before they stop, right? But the truth of the matter is, when you stop, you stop. You ain't stopped until you stopped. So if you said, man, I was smoking cigarettes, and then I went down from a pack a day to half a pack a day, and then I went down from half a pack a day to only a couple of days. You didn't quit until you quit. That's when you stopped. The day that you didn't smoke no more, that's when you stop. Ain't no increments. You can't. If I'm beating on my wife every day, and then I'm gonna stop beating on her every day. This week I'm only gonna beat on her twice. Nobody ain't gonna give me no credit for that. They know you haven't stopped beating on her until you stop beating on her. So what I'm saying is there's no increment.
Hold on, podcast. Let me jump in there.
Point where you're not doing it, or you're still doing it. And if you're still doing it, you haven't stopped. You haven't changed. She's
hold on, podcast.
Breast, she hasn't changed.
Hold on. So this is why I slightly disagree. Number one, our experiences are not everybody else's. And this is one thing that I had to learn, that just because I was able to recover from something or stop something with ease, it doesn't mean that everybody else is capable of doing the same thing. And I got to respect that. But let me give you an example. So a person who is a recovering alcoholic, and notice the words that I'm using, recovering alcoholic, have they not changed?
Somebody got an echo.
So I'll ask the question again. So if a recovering alcoholic, they're recovering, at what point have they changed? After the first year?
Stop drinking.
Second year?
When they stop drinking.
But notice what I'm saying. They're called recovering addicts, right? Why is that? It's because the temptation, or it could always be there. It's every day you saying, I won't drink. And some people, to be fair, actually do that. At first, I used to drink a whole pack of beer. Now it's one, and then they wean themselves off of it. That's what I'm saying. At what point does change occur?
Y'all, listen, man. I know.
Well, for somebody
that's want to disagree, but you can't. You just literally made my point for me, and you don't even realize it. Right?
I don't think I did make your point.
Let me show you how. What do alcoholics say about themselves even when they're not drinking?
I'm not an alcoholic.
That's not what they say. They say I am an alcoholic. That's the point.
Most
They say I'm always
alcoholics,
an alcoholic, right?
most
I'm
alcoholics
always an
deny
alcoholic,
it.
but I'm not drinking, right?
Most
So
alcoholics deny it. Most alcoholics deny being an alcoholic because they want to appear to be normal to the other people that they're drinking with. I'm not an alcoholic.
Jasmine, that's not he literally said recovering. So this is what I'm saying. Y'all stop trying to debate me and listen. He said recovering, right?
Okay.
So the whole point is that they're not drinking anymore. But when they go to the AA meeting, guess what they say? Hi, my name is John and I'm an alcoholic. They still say that, right? So they're always the alcoholic, right? But that's why I said that's a bad
Well, it sounds like you're proving my point.
No,
So
that's a
That's
bad
exactly what I'm saying.
example. No, it's
Podcast when
a
they're
bad
saying
example.
podcast when they're
Go ahead,
podcast,
Jazz.
when they're saying that, hi, my name is John and I'm an alcoholic in the AA meeting, that is something that's expected for them to say inside of that AA meeting. But I'm saying when they're with, that's part of the program. That's part of the program.
It's a reason they don't just make them do it to embarrass them. Why do they make them do it?
Because they want them to acknowledge that they have a drinking problem.
Exactly. Okay, so this is why this is a bad example, right? Because what we're talking about is the fact that they are alcoholics.
Hold on. Alcohol is a bad example, but beating your wife is a good one.
Yes, it is. Because,
okay,
yes, it is, right?
Okay.
This is what I'm saying, right? It's podcast. Let's get the laughs out.
So I'm giving a more relatable example, right?
It's
There's
not, Sir Hale, if you would really, I know it's podcast. I get that, but I'm saying really listen.
Just because we disagree, don't go back to its podcast. I just disagree with your point.
So I'm saying really listen to what I'm saying, bro.
I do. I just really disagree.
If I'm always an alcoholic, even if I'm not drinking, that's a bad example.
You are a recovering. Hold on, listen. You are a recovering alcoholic.
Okay, so here's my question to you then, Sir Hale. When they go into their meetings, why don't they have them say, hi, my name is John, I'm a recovering alcoholic?
I think they're initially dealing with it because it's a disease. And so you have to own that this is a problem. And because you can own it as a problem, you can take the steps to fix it. That's really why they do that.
Okay,
now, listen,
but my point is
I come from a line of people who've actually gone through this. And I used to think that's what I'm saying. I used to think that it was just turn it off. And to be fair, some people did, but other people didn't. But the journey was still the same. It was every single day you're trying to recover from something that you're used to doing.
And that's where the communication line broke up at.
Hold on, podcast. Let me just say this. I say this. To be fair, we're all recovering from something. If we want to be honest with ourselves, every single day, most of us are recovering from something. Is that fair to say?
It is. Okay, you win. You win.
I don't want to expose mine.
It's not really winning, podcast. It's just
the point is this. Where the line of communication got lost at is that you all thinking that I'm saying what you just said, right? Is that, oh, just because one person does it immediately doesn't mean the other person will. What I'm saying is everybody does it immediately. You have not stopped something until you stopped it, right? So if I smoke a pack of cigarettes every day, listen to the example. And I say, man, I'm gonna quit, right? And then I go down to half a pack of cigarettes every day. I'm still smoking. Therefore, I have not stopped smoking yet. If I go down to a quarter of a pack of cigarettes a day, I'm still smoking. Therefore, I have not quit smoking. When I get down to 0 cigarettes a day, that's the day that I stopped smoking. I didn't stop smoking all those other days while I was still smoking. That makes no sense. That's what I'm saying. Look past the messenger and hear the message. You have not stopped until you actually stop. I was trying to stop for 10 years. But
that wasn't the point of the podcast.
And I ain't smoked no more.
Podcast, that wasn't so the question got reframed to stopping, which is a part of it. The point of this was about change, right?
Right.
And even though you don't stop immediately right away, is that an indication that you haven't changed? I think that's what we get into. And this is back to Blac Chyna. She's on Instagram, she makes a post. Does that one picture mean she's not changing? And to that, I would disagree. I think that over time, as you develop, you get older, you get more experience, your behavior becomes refined. I don't think it's a snap of the finger, everything gets right. And I would dare say this, anybody who tries to pretend like they're more changed than they are, set themselves up for frustration, and they'll end up regressing because they're pretending like they're further than they actually are. That's just my perspective.
So suffixes matter, Sir Hale. Suffixes matter. Now you're saying,
let's get your quick response, and then we're going to get everybody else in here as well. But go ahead.
Yeah, it's a difference between changing and changed, right? So
I'm talking about changing. Yeah.
Okay, so that's what I'm saying.
Actually, depending on how you use change, it could mean an ongoing process as well. But
right, changed means not the same anymore. Changing means in the process of not being the same anymore. So if you're saying, can she be an example of changing? You have a point. If you say, can she be an example of people who can change? I disagree. Or have changed. I disagree because she hasn't changed. And the last Instagram post proves that.
Anybody just want to respond to this? What are your thoughts on this? Let's get Jalen real quick because Jalen like she had something to say moments ago. Jalen, did you have a response? Okay.
All right. Look, I'm gonna say something. So, as much as I hate to disagree with my cousin podcast, I gotta agree with what he's saying about change being immediately. And I know most people may feel that change could be incremental, but even like he said with the suffix, when you're changing or you're making progress, the progress is incremental. But if it's something that you want to do right away, they say the best, I forgot what's the saying go, but if you want to change, you're going to change just like that. I remember when I decided that I was going to give up pork. I couldn't eat pork. I couldn't smell it. Immediately, pork. I haven't had pork since 2011. Immediately, because I knew for a fact that wasn't for me. I didn't want my baby eating pork. I was pregnant. And then when I tried to go back, my body suffered. I got really sick because I'm like, okay, well, now I'm stepping back into unfamiliar. It became an unfamiliar territory. Whatever that was that I gave up became unfamiliar territory. So when somebody truly put their mind to something that they want to do, it happened immediately. If I decided even with the drinking, for me to be so small, I drank so much. If I told people how much I drank, it's embarrassing for me to say as a woman, but I drank so much. When I decided that I wanted to stop drinking, I had to do it immediately. That doesn't mean it wasn't hard. That don't mean I didn't think about drinking it. Because a lot of times what we do is we use these other things like drinking, the cigarettes and stuff like that to kind of, they're like soothers or bandages. Or I did a live earlier and I was talking about how we use these things to soothe us like pacifiers instead of us doing the work and self-soothing. But change happens immediately. If you have somebody in a relationship and you have this man and this woman, he decided, you know what, my wife is finna get ready and leave me. In the midst of him saying like, okay, well, I'm cheating. I'm a serial cheater, but I value my wife so much that I'm willing to make this relationship work. If he feel that the cheating was the issue to keep him and his wife from being together, and he wanted to keep that marriage together, he's going to stop cheating immediately.
Wait. Whoa. So let's back up, because all that what you and podcast are saying, and I disagree that you cousins agree. It's really bad for my ratings. So, what you're saying has some merit, but who decides when they changed? So it's all about perspective. So hold on before you ask. Let me ask you guys a good question. Podcast, you went to high school. You played in you went to high school. Jayla, you went to high school. Jasmine, Sir Charles, you went to high school, right? How long did it take you to pass 7th grade? Was it when you first started 7th grade? Was it the middle of it? Was it the end of it? Like, at what point did you pass the 7th grade and you were changed to 8th grade? At what point was this?
At the end of the school year. But I don't think that's a good example, Sir Hale.
Hold on, listen to what I'm saying. Like here's my point. You could just go. You could just listen to me. You couldn't go from 6th grade to 8th grade, could you? You had to go through classes, and the change over time had to be proved in tests. I think that's kind of how life is. It's a classroom. You don't get to skip to a grade because you want to be there. I think you got to go through a series of classes, of tests that prove the change. You don't just get there. That's the point that I'm making, and it's a great example. What about
the people who test out?
Even an example.
What that means? Hold on. So those who test out, that's different. They tested out, but they tested out. They proved themselves. That's the whole point of this, right? That's the whole point. Like, I believe that life is a class, and I think that we're so hard on people because we don't see the change and we don't think they changed. And sometimes, even though they're not all the way there, doesn't mean that they're not on the way there. And I think we got to give credence to that.
So
what do you guys think about that?
You made a valid good point. Life is a class. Experience is a teacher, right? And I guess when I think about it, the way that you just say it, maybe the thought process happens immediately because I'm not.
I'm a wise man. Go ahead. Yeah, I'm a wise man.
Ain't got nothing on you, huh?
Sir Hale the wise.
I'm just saying.
But when you put it like that, I still believe that change happened immediately. And maybe I'm talking from a mental standpoint, because a lot of times when we do things and we make these decisions in life, the first place it comes from is up here. You don't just wake up in the morning and just say, and you just decide to stop smoking cigarettes, something happened. So a lot of times when we make a decision, we're making the decision based off, the decision is a reaction to something that might have happened to us. So like even with, podcast giving an example of him stop smoking a cigarette, it took him one day. He could have been, sit in the tub, woke up, got out the tub, his chest started hurting, or he was walking up a flight of steps.
Hold on, Jasmine. We got to be honest with that.
That same day, he decided, I didn't like the way that made me feel. So
I'm going to tell you the truth.
Decision.
I'm going to tell you the truth what happened with podcast. I'm telling you the truth. Podcast just lied to you. And I'm going to tell you why. He didn't stop cigarettes because he wanted to. He stopped because he was buying them cheap ones, and they weren't giving him the effect that he wanted. So because of that, he did this thing. Now podcast will respond to that podcast. Now go ahead, Jasmine. Finish your story.
That's the truth. That is the truth.
Finish your story, Jasmine. I just had to throw that in there. It was the off-brand cigarettes. Go ahead, Jasmine.
Yeah, so I still stand by that, but I do also believe when you're thinking of change.
So y'all think I'm supposed to just allow that complete mischaracterization of what happened to me? Are you insane?
You did tell the story.
No, that's not the story I told.
Yeah, you moved from Chicago to Kentucky, and the cigarettes wasn't the same.
No, that's not the point. The point was they was real.
Podcast, it doesn't matter. Point. This is TV, man. That's the reason why podcast changed.
Because when people say stuff about me, it becomes the narrative about me, right? So
we just giving podcast a hard time.
It's only a narrative if you accept it, but
hold on, Jazz. Let me say this. Let me correct you on something real quick, because I'm not saying that it took me one day. That's not what I'm saying. I wanted to quit smoking for like 10 years. What I'm saying is the change occurred the day I stopped smoking. I threw the cigarette out the window, I threw the pack out the window, and I was done. And this is the reason why I'm saying
before we move on podcast to your question, within that 10-year span, and this is a real question, did you try to stop within those 10 years?
Yeah.
That's in the class.
In class. Yeah. You graduated when you stopped, but you were in class for those 10 years.
Yeah, but this is the thing. When I decided to quit smoking, I wasn't even thinking about quitting. I came down to Kentucky. I was happy. Oh my God, Newports is $5 a pack down here. We were just paying 10 in Chicago. I called everybody. Boy Squares, $5. Y'all killing yourselves up there, right? So I was happy to be able to get that pack. I couldn't wait. Patted that thing up. You know how we do the Newport box. Patted that thing up, pulled the wrap off, took that cigarette out, hit it about twice, and my chest was like, "Really, this is what we doing?" I was like, "No, sir, no, it's not, because I want to live."
That's like so you podcast smoking them few port 200s.
Podcast. That's the point.
Fork in the road, right? That's when the change occurs. That's what I'm saying. It's not that it took me one day. What I'm saying is you get to a point where you make
podcast. You're proving my point now.
I'm not.
You are proving
talking about change stuff.
Hold on, wait, podcast. Everybody in the chat, did podcast not just prove my entire point?
No, you can't ask your chat. Of course, they're gonna agree with you. If we
podcast, that's the point of me asking. Chat.
Right.
Did you? But seriously, podcast. You say rewind the tapes. I want you to go back and listen. What you're saying.
What I just said.
What you're saying is right on line with what I said. Like you were in class for those 10 years. You were trying to change. It didn't happen though. But that process of knowing you needed to stop, like Von Bryan said, it accrued. And once you were done with it. But it wasn't an instantaneous, I need to quit and then stop in the same day. It was a process, like most people. So that's the whole point.
But we haven't disagreed.
But isn't that kind of like
that.
podcast? Isn't that the same thing that I just said? I said typically when people make the decision. I said typically when people decide to make the decision, something happened. The decision is them is the reaction. That's what it was. You had a reaction. You just said it made you right. It was a consequence. You felt something and you
that's what I'm
decided.
saying. That's why I said we're not disagreeing. Me, Jasmine, we're not disagreeing with what you're saying, sir. Well, that's why I give context and people just ignore it because it's podcast, right? I said suffixes matter, right? If you're saying changing, you win. I'm not gonna argue with you. If you say changed, you're wrong because you ain't changed when you got your titties out on Instagram. There is no incrementals. You just stop doing it. You know what? I'm giving my life to God. So this thing that I'm about to do, which have my boobs out on Instagram, I know this goes against God, so I'm not going to do it. This thing over here I'm doing, I'm not going to do it. This thing over here I was doing, I'm not going to do it. It ain't going to, if you can go and get the butt implants taken out your behind, you can put a shirt on. All I'm saying is that's way more easier. Real change, you see it and you see it immediately. You notice it immediately. And that's what I'm saying. I immediately squares out the window, done. I don't want to do this no more. My mama was on drugs. The next day she wasn't. Period. She didn't use drugs no more. This is the day that the change occurred. Because from this day forth, there will be no more drugs. That's what I'm saying. I'm not arguing that the changing, right, is a process. I'm saying you haven't actually changed until you stop. That's why, to me, the school thing is a bad example because you're talking about moving forward, right? I'm saying we're talking about people cutting things out of their lives. That's usually what we're doing when we're talking about this kind of change. We're talking about somebody cutting these things out of their life that is a detriment to their forward movement.
Hold on. Suffixes matter. Cutting.
Right, yes. Which is the process, right?
Yes. That's the point. That's the point, though. So you're
on that already.
Everybody, listen. Podcast agrees with me, and he wants to disagree. I don't know why. But we're saying the same thing. Because here's the truth, and I'll land on this. I used to be judgmental. And I'm being honest with you. I used to be judgmental, but I had my own private struggles. You know what I mean? And so I used to judge people. I didn't always projecting me onto them. Right. So whenever they did something wrong, because my stuff was hidden, y'all couldn't see I know I do my dirt in the quiet, but they in the open. And you start to realize over time that change does not happen right away. And if you don't give yourself the space to say, you know what, I got it wrong today, let me do better tomorrow, like that feeling of failure would make you say, you know what, forget this. You know, this ain't work. It's frustrating. And that's why I want young girls. Let me ask y'all, since you and Jasmine want to be judgmental, let me ask y'all a question.
I'm like not judgmental at all.
I'm being judgmental.
But so let me ask you guys a real question. Have you ever did something that you knew was wrong and you knew you should stop, but it took time to stop all the way?
Oh my God. I don't know how many times you're going to try to make this point. You've made it already. We're talking about the difference between ING
podcast. That's not the
point. Just answer the question because that's
not the point. We've already acknowledged the difference between ING and ED. That's it.
No, podcast. That's not the point. It's more so of a question. So when you knew you should stop doing it, at what point did you change?
The day I stopped doing it. The minute I stopped doing it was the day the change was enacted. Right? The slavery. Slavery was a thing. Right? When did slavery end? The day the ratification was enacted.
And to some people, we would disagree.
Legally, most people would be a-holes.
No, legally, I agree with you. But in terms of the behavior, you see what I'm saying?
Mentally, is slavery still going on mentally?
See, that's what
Well,
I'm saying.
that's not complicated, Jazz. He understands the point that I'm making.
I know, but he asked us a question. So
it's
to
a simple question,
answer your question, my answer will be yes. And the part 2 to the question was, when did I decide to change?
No. So you knew it. You needed to change, and then but you didn't do it all the way. But you knew you needed to. My question was, at what point did you change?
Well, I can't really give a time frame, but when I realized that I knew I had to change, and I realized that I had to change because the things that I was doing, it was affecting my ability to communicate, and it was affecting my relationships with different people. So I had to change immediately, or I wouldn't have the relationships that I have with the people in my life. So yeah. So it was like a give and take. I feel like the people in my life was way more important than what that pacifier or that bandage was. And I was just willing to rip off the bandage just to keep that healthy relationship with the people that I love the most.
I can't believe you just
let
I'm sorry, cuz, but it's the truth.
I'm agreeing.
Like all he did was reword the question. I don't understand how you let that jam you up like that. It does not change anything. For whatever reason, he's trying to down this hill that we've already admitted that you can say that change itself is a process, but what we're saying is the stamp on the change don't happen until you stop doing the thing you're doing. This is why I tried to use the example.
Let me ask you a question.
Hold on, Charles. The reason why I tried to use the example of the husband beating on the wife, because everybody understands something when the woman is a victim in the story. So what I'm saying is, what would you say? Okay, he was whooping her once a day for 7 days a week, and this week he only whooping her 3 days. Has he changed? Since y'all want to do it to me, that's a yes or no question. He went from 7 days to watch this. Watch how he's switching. Don't let nobody answer my question. He went from hitting us 7 days a week to 3 days a week. Has he changed? Yes or no?
Hold on, podcast.
I know.
Hold on, guys.
I know.
Podcast. We're just having a conversation.
I know.
So framing the conversation to give the answer you want to have is not a legitimate question.
That's exactly what you just did to Jasmine.
No, I gave context.
He asked the question and I just answered the question. But it's
so listen. The reason I say this is because I'll give you on podcast. Let's say a man let's take your example. He beat on his wife for 7 days. 8th day he stops. Her family knows that he was beating on her. To who believes that him not doing it one day means he's changed? Nobody. A year goes by, you are still a man who beats on a woman. 10 years go by, you are still that man. That's what I'm saying. At what point does it change? So depending on who,
think about what you just said.
Hold on, just let me finish. Depending on who's observing it, they're going to have a different perspective. But the only person who really knows is a person in that process. That's what I'm saying.
Right. So now look what you just did. You just talked about it from the family's perspective. With all due respect, screw them. They don't matter. They're not the ones getting hit on. The woman is the one getting hit on. Now, when do you think she's going to say that man changed? Is she going to say he changed the week when he was only hitting her 3 times a week? Or is she going to say he changed when he stopped hitting her? It's okay to answer my questions. Forget all y'all want to come up with these crazy things. There's a
podcast. It's not everybody versus podcast. Brother, you gotta stop doing that. It's not everybody versus podcast. Like, you gotta stop framing that, bro.
When you ask me a yes or no, I gave it to you. When you ask me questions, I answer your question. So I'm asking a question right now from the woman's perspective. When the man was hitting her 7 days a week, on the week when he was hitting her 3 days a week, has he changed? Yes or no?
I would say
that's not a yes or no question.
He changed gradually, but he still
you still give her knuckle sandwiches.
I'm not answering no more yes or no questions or none of that, bro. I want the same respect I give y'all, bro. When y'all ask me questions, I don't say it's straw man. I don't say you trying to make me answer it your way. I just answer the question,
we not
bro.
doing that, bro. This is
okay, so Sir Charles, can you answer the question, bro?
Well, see, first of all, you let us get inside your head. You know, see,
bro, I'm demonstrative. It don't got nothing to do with you. That's who I am. I'm demonstrative. That's who I am. It don't make me a bad person. Don't make me a criminal. I'm demonstrative. That's who I am. Okay, so don't let that get to you. Just answer the question. You getting in my head now because I don't like it when I give people respect that they don't give me. How about that? When y'all ask me a yes or no question, that's what I give you.
Who's disrespecting
I don't try to duck and dodge. So Charles, while you over talking me right now, I'm asking you a straight question, bro.
All night long. At no point did I feel
disrespected. The way that I ask y'all questions, bro.
At no point did I feel disrespected.
Okay, but I do. I do. So here's what I'm saying.
Right. And
when y'all ask me questions, I answer them, bro. I answer them. So I'm asking you from the woman's purview, her husband was hitting her 7 days a week. On the week when he was hitting her 3 days, does she think he's changed?
She may not think he's changed.
Okay, thank you. On the week when he stopped hitting her, and it's been week after week after week after week after week after week, and he haven't touched her, is she gonna believe that he's changed? Yes or no? See?
Yes. And
thank you.
Hold on. In this example, I would have to agree with you. But every action is not the same. That's something egregious where you're actually inflicting a bodily harm upon another person. We're talking about how you carry yourself or things that you do to yourself versus how you inflict or how you inflict pain and harm on another person. Those are two totally different things.
It don't matter because that's not what we're talking about. We aren't talking about that. We're talking about
one is a crime. One is a crime, and the others are just maybe morally wrong.
So what? We're not talking about that. We're talking about change. The subject is change, Charles.
It does matter. It definitely matters.
The subject is change.
No.
The subject is change.
Because the thing about it is when you do something, when something is considered immoral or done to yourself, at the end of the day, no one can really gauge that totally but you or the person. But when you involve somebody else, right? When you involve somebody else, now that gives the right for that person and other people looking at that situation to gauge whether there's change going on or not. Now, here's the thing. I smoke cigarettes too. I smoked my first, and I want to throw this out there. I smoked my first cigarette when I was in 6th grade, right? Yeah. Because I wanted to be like Ice Cube and NWA, and I started drinking St. Ides. We was drinking St. Ides.
No.
Yeah. And I literally had my last cigarette in 2010. Now, that was a gradual process. It was a very gradual process. And I wanted to quit. And I found convenient ways to not quit. I'm like, well, I could just smoke here and there, and then boom. And at some point, I realized, wait a minute, if I could, because I was a closet smoker. My kids never seen me smoke a cigarette. Well, my baby girl caught me one time because she woke up and looked out the back door, and I was back there hiding. I was a closet smoker, and I started thinking like, yo, if I could just hide smoke, like then maybe the addiction ain't that serious. If I could be a closet smoker. And then I started thinking about the executives at what's the Philip Morris, the cigarette companies. I started picturing them laughing at me, and then that's what made me quit. I pictured the executives at Philip Morris company that owns all these cigarettes. I pictured them laughing at me every time I brought money to the gas station. That's what made me quit, because I felt I ain't no joke. I'm trying to keep it PG.
So hold on, respectfully, right? Look at this. The definition of change, the noun definition of change, the act or instance, of making or becoming different.
I agree with you.
Watch this. What is the definition of instance? No, don't try to skip the first word.
No. And at the end of the day, change. The only thing we're discussing.
What's the definition of instance, Sir Charles? You're doing it again, bro.
No, it ain't. Hold on, guys. Hold on, guys.
Words you want to use.
Podcast. Hold on, guys. Hold on, guys. Podcast. Hold on. Podcast. Hold on.
I mean, Sir Hale.
Like on Super Sundays, I like it to be chill. Like, so we can debate with
chilling, bro.
Podcast. Just listen. Podcast. Just listen. Right. So I like to keep the show lively and fun. Right. So we can debate, but we ain't got to argue about it. And I want to get the ladies in here as well. So even in your definition, it has the ing in there. In instances go toward change, right? If you know anything about computer sciences, like when you build an application, you have instances of virtual machines to make something work. Instances doesn't mean that's the total thing. It just means it's a piece of a larger puzzle.
Okay, so Sir Hill, so are you telling me that definitions don't matter right now?
No, come on,
I'm
podcast.
asking.
Come on, bro.
Bro, just please, bro. Don't try to make it sound like podcast is being crazy. You could just say, no, I'm not trying to say that podcast. And then I could say, okay, the reason why I'm asking you that question is this. I'm not being disingenuous. I'm asking you that question genuinely. Are you trying to say
am I saying that definitions don't matter?
Yes, I'm saying. Are you saying that definitions?
Did I say definitions don't matter? Come on, bro. No, I didn't. Of course not.
Okay, so wait. I'm asking that question for a reason, sir, because the definition of change is the act or instance of making or becoming different, right? The word instance means an example or single occurrence of something.
It doesn't mean a 180 though, bro. It doesn't mean a 180. It just means a change. And 3 degrees is a change.
You got
3
it, bro.
degrees is a change. 5 degrees is a change.
Yeah.
6 degrees, not the 180. We think that 180 is the change. 180 is the change. No.
It is.
5 degrees is a change.
It is.
I'm gonna help everybody out. Agree to disagree.
We just be arguing. That's all.
No, we don't do that. We don't do that, beautiful.
No, listen. What he just said, he thinks that makes his point, but it makes mine, right? Because he said 5 degrees is different. So let's say you're standing at 14.4 degrees and you change 5 degrees different. You changed. It wasn't no incremental change. You changed it. You changed the degree in which you were standing.
No, podcast. No, podcast. That you can only say that if you have a goal that you're working toward. I'll give you an example. If you go to the gym and you say my goal is to get to just a 1% change, and you're saying my goal is to lose 50 pounds, right? And you lose 2, well, you've changed. But the change is not complete because the goal is 50. That's what we're talking about. It's incremental change based off of a goal to stop doing something.
I have that book.
That was so good, Sir Hill. I see what you did right there. That was so
wonderful.
good.
Yeah.
That was so good. The only problem is this, though, right? Because here's the thing. According to my scale, you're fat. When you're fat, when you hit a certain weight, right? So if your goal is to not be fat anymore, you're still fat until you get under that weight. That's what I'm saying. That's how we're looking at this. Not what you're talking about, which is you setting your own goals. We're saying you're not something
you just wrong.
anymore.
You just wrong, podcast. Just listen. If you wear a size 44 pants and you get down, you ain't lost 50, but you done lost 4 inches. You need new pants. That's because you've changed. Now you're probably not down to a size 32 yet, but you've made significant change enough where your wardrobe changes a bit.
True.
Podcast, I'm eating you up with this example, brother.
You're not, because I just proved it to you. You're still fat. So if the point is to not be fat anymore, you're still fat until you get under the fat weight. That's how that works. Because remember what we was talking about with Blac Chyna was her removing things, right? Her removing thoughism.
Hold on. An instance of change is what you're talking about? Hold on. An instance of her removing something? An instance of her, quitting her OnlyFans? An instance? Is that what you're referring to, podcast?
Yes. And the fact that she's still on Instagram showing her boobs prove that she hasn't changed.
You're killing your own argument, bro. That's all I'm saying. You're killing your own argument.
The OnlyFans was she lost 10 pounds, and then taking the stuff out her behind she lost 20 pounds, but she need to lose 100 pounds for it to be changed.
But she got some instances of change. Is that fair to say?
That's slick. I like that one. Come
on, podcast. It's what I do.
I like that one. That's slick right there. I like that one.
Ladies, what's your perspective on this? The men have just argued like we typically do.
Jalen been waiting to speak.
Man, please. You're going to make me say something. Y'all just stop pretending.
Podcast.
I'm just be honest. I've had a lot to say a bunch of times, and I kept getting skipped. So most
it's
of the time,
podcast. I'm gonna talk to
podcast.
Stop
it. No, not letting that happen. Sir Hill came to you twice, and you were like, "Oh, I got nothing to say." Y'all not putting that on podcast.
I do have nothing to say.
But we still want to blame podcast. Just
look, y'all.
See.
We gotta wrap up anyway. I gotta get to the gym. So yeah, but Jalen, it's on you. What's your response to this?
I had the response earlier. That's what I'm saying. Keep talking
Ain't
so much,
changed.
I be losing it.
God darn
Ain't changed. She's
podcast.
still the same.
Well, I'll tell you what.
Podcast fault.
I'm getting better.
Podcast made you lose your thought. I know it.
Podcast.
I'm like,
Podcast. I heard that. Now listen. Anybody want to give anybody? Let's dang. All right. So anybody want to comment on what we just talked about moments ago? Let's start with you, podcast. So we're gonna wrap it up in a minute. So, what's your final thoughts? And start off by saying, Sir Hale was very wise and you learned something. And then please continue with what you're saying, brother. It's on you.
I thought we had one more question.
No, that it's 10:51. I want to get us out of here.
Oh, okay. Man, look, see, I don't know about y'all, but all that kumbaya, my lord, like them podcasts be boring to me. I like it when it's turned up a little bit. You know what I'm saying? We can be demonstrative, we can go back and forth because it's all love with us. I know if I'm in trouble, I can pick up the phone and call one of them brothers. You know what I'm saying? So y'all on the watch side.
You can't disagree with me and call me. You have to pick one.
And the smiley faces in the chat when we being like that, so that everybody know that it's not really like no real smoke. We men, like it is what it is.
Podcast. No, you got to either disagree or call me. You got to pick one.
What? No, I don't have to do that. What I can say is this: at the end of the day, it has been my experience, and what I have seen from people is people do a lot of talking. Right? They do a whole lot of talking. The change itself is not there until you've actually made the change. It's just that simple, right? So whatever that is, now you may want to lose weight, right? But there's a process to losing weight. And until you implement that process into your life, you won't see any results. So therefore, if the process to losing weight is the change in lifestyle, then that's the thing that has to happen first, right? So you got to cut out the junk food, you got to cut out the red meat, you got to cut out the pork, you got to cut out the dairy, all this other stuff that you got to do. You got to go get a gym membership, you got to set up a schedule for you to do all this stuff, right? And the day that you start doing all of that is the day that you have changed. Now, visually, you might not necessarily see the change that you want, right? Now, that's another journey. That's a whole separate journey. The first one, change mindset. The second one, change lifestyle. The third one, change your physicality, right? So now you set a goal for yourself, man. I don't want to be fat no more. So according to the BMI scale, this is the weight I need to be at to not be fat. And guess what? Until you hit that weight, you still fat. And that change don't come until the day you get to that point and you can say, I'm not fat anymore. Right? We cannot live in a land of delusion and can try to convince ourselves that something means something. Make whatever we want to make something mean what it means. Words matter. And I like definitions, and ain't nobody gonna change them for me. Okay. So real change happens when you make a real change. Same way how I got up and shaved today, put on my red hat, my white shirt, made a change so I could be sexy for the show. And I must admit, I definitely look better than the other two brothers. Sir Hale, hater, man. You be great, man. It's your boy Beans, aka Love Podcast. Okay, I got the ISWLP network. We going to the 24 hours in a minute, trying to make sure we get it set up so it can run itself and be self-sustaining. I got the Love Podcast network. The other shows that was on ISYP are going to end up on that channel because the 24-hour channel is going to be self-sustaining, so nobody going to be able to put nothing over there, right? And then I got Mondays and Tuesdays on the Toxic Avengers Network, Anger Management on Mondays, Super Chat Takeover on Tuesdays, the Toxic Avengers Network presented by Angry Man, and of course we over here on Sundays turning up Super Sundays with your boy Sir Hale and me, Lil Podcast. Holla at your boy, man.
Beautifully animated. It's on you. What's your final thoughts on tonight's topic?
Yeah.
What do you want to leave with us?
The podcast has to say no to rolled up tissue. These are not cigarettes, man. You can't smoke this, okay?
Hold on, I got to get podcast some time to respond to this. Podcast, dude, you want to address the accusation?
I mean, my only rebuttal is to not laugh. I don't know what else to do with that.
Dang.
Oh my goodness. But Yeah, people out there, if you want to change, you can change when you're ready for it. You know, the only one who can make you change and help you change is yourself. And then, if you're serious about it, others can help you. But it all depends on you. So yeah, Beautifully Animated Speaks. You can catch me over here or on Black Man Unfiltered. I have my own channel, Beautifully Animated Speaks. I have another channel, Beautifully Animated, and I have my IG, which is Beautifully Animated. Thank you.
Hey, much respect to you, Beautifully Animated, and thanks so much for joining on such short notice. I really appreciate it tonight.
No problem.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Thanks for having me.
Jalen, it's always good to see you. Jalen was on it. She was like, listen, send me the link. She joined in. It's always good having you here.
I was
What's your final thoughts?
Okay, so I believe change is a mindset. Like, if you put your mind to it, you can change it. So, put your mind to it and change it. Like, just do it, essentially. But don't be too hard on yourself, because if you rush it, it's gonna be fake. So, yeah, it was a good show. Glad to be back. Yeah.
Excellent. We're glad you're here as well. So y'all get ready for next week. We're gonna turn it up a notch. Jasmine, always good having you on. Like, really, like we make jokes, we have a good time podcasting. Now we're gonna argue just on general principle, right? And so, you know, your perspective adds nuance to what we talk about. And I've come to respect how you think about things. And I really appreciate it. So what's your final thoughts on tonight's topic, and what do you want to leave with the people?
Well, I'm gonna start off by saying this. I don't know if I was getting a headache from all the testosterone that was going on between you fellas, and my cheeks hurt from all the buffoonery that was being spoken. But all I have to say, because the topic was change. Change is inevitable, and that's something that nobody can escape. I know earlier I did a live and I was talking about change, and I was talking about a lot of times when we do things in life, you see a lot of people get on social media and they talk about it's me versus me. But for me, I feel like if it's you versus you, why is that something that has to be broadcast to everybody? When you really take that time to make that change for yourself, that change part is real. It can be really dark. It can be really scary. It can be really lonely, because at the end of the day, you're not facing all of these people that you're saying it's me versus me. You're actually facing yourself. So, and I know, like, right now, we living in a time where everybody is comparing everything with everybody. You see a lot of people making, I'm gonna say, alterations with their life based off the things that they see online or whatever. But when my view on change is, change typically happen because change is a reaction to something that we experience in life, whether we feel like it may be detrimental to our health, or it may be harming a relationship that I have. At the end of the day, can't nobody force you to change. It got to be in you. It got to be the decision that you chose to make for yourself. So I always believe this one little quote was, you got to be the change in the world you wish to see. Y'all can find me here on Jasmine Says It All. I finally made my 100 subscriber benchmark that I was trying to get before the money's out. And on my channel, I pretty much talk about trauma, healing, and having healthy relationships with yourself. So thank you for having me again this evening.
Always good. Glad you're here. And a salute to you on the channel, everybody. And thank you, Brandon L. Jeff, for continuously posting these links. Thank you so much. And shout out to Von Bryant as well. Guys, make sure we subscribe to Jasmine as well. Says It All. You're going to hear a lot more from her. I can guarantee you that. Mindful Misunderstood. One of the men that got a range of thought that brings perspective, and you really can't predict how you see things because you're an educated man. What's your thought on tonight's topic? Like, what's your final thoughts, and what do you want to leave with the people?
Well, first and foremost, Sir Hale, as always, thank you for having me on the platform once again. I always enjoy myself. I like going back and forth with Brother Beans. Very intellectual brother. You know, it kind of reminds me of that John Clark quote when he says, "I debate my equals, all others I teach." And I like having a healthy debate with podcasts because he's a smart brother. Just got to, learn a lot from Sir Charles. But anyhow, to the other panelists, I appreciate your perspectives. Nice conversation this evening. Thanks to the chat for chiming in. Listen, this book right here, Atomic Habits, Tiny Changes, Remarkable Results. The thing about it is, this book promotes the incremental changes that we can make in life that over time are grand. The thing about it is we get so focused on making these large changes right now, and that could actually cause us to fall off a course. In the book, it actually talks about an example of a plane leaving from California to New York. And if that plane just adjusts 3 degrees over time, that plane will land in Washington, D.C. So small changes over time can make a big difference is the point. And so I think that, a lot of times it's awesome that when a person can change immediately, that's great. Our brains most of our brains don't work like that. We need something. We need a trigger that's going to make us actually make the significant change that people on the outside can see. That being said, great show. Love having the discussion. I don't want to be long-winded, but I am Sir Charles the God, one half of Mindfully Misunderstood. Please catch me on YouTube, all social media handles. And that's it. I'm out here.
A salute to you. Shout out to Brandon L. Jett. Now, this is something as a host that I appreciate. Like, Brandon L. Jett listens to what everybody says, and then he implements that in how he describes you in your channel. I think that's real dope. I salute you, Brandon L. Jett. That's dope.
Thanks, brother.
I really appreciate that. Well, everybody, here's my final thing. Everybody can change if you want to. And I think that we have to give people the room to change, because it's very difficult when you're trying to do something and everybody is reminding you of what you used to be. So whether or not celebrities are different from us, take it to your own personal life. There are people in your life today who are trying to change. And if we lock them into the prison of how we've seen them before, then we make their journey and their process to transforming that much more difficult. So give everybody some space to grow, because the truth is all of us need it at some point. All right, y'all. Well, it's been a dope show. Until next time, happy Sunday, everybody. I'll post a link to the after show where you will see podcast. Sir Charles and I continue this testosteronic debate in the back chat. I'll send the link in just a bit. Salute to everybody. I'll have a good night. We'll talk with y'all soon. Peace. May I have your attention? May I please have your attention? Super Sundays. Yeah, baby. We're back at it again. Let's get it.
Let's get it. Let's get it.
Let's get it. What's up, everybody, and welcome to another edition of Sir Hale Speaks Super Sundays. I'm glad that you're here. I wanted to take a moment to tell you guys how much I appreciate you. We've been doing these shows for months now, and you guys have been showing up consistently as we take on and we tackle different challenges and different topics. So I appreciate it. But here's what we're trying to do going forward. We want to grow this audience to people who need to hear content like this. And so we need your help. How can you help us? That's a fantastic question. Be sure to make sure you hit that like button. Be sure to subscribe, and make sure you hit that notification bell for all of the content that we have, particularly Super Sundays. All right, guys, sit back, relax, enjoy. Make sure you invite somebody to Sir Hale Speaks Super Sundays. We're getting ready to go in. We're going to have a good time. Happy Sunday, everybody. Let's get to the show.